Oh, brother, it's Christine again.
M goes, I'm ready when you are, and then M starts talking. So I thought, oh, okay. I thought that I was supposed to kind of go off, but I thought maybe I don't know. Maybe you were talking to yourself. I'm ready when you are.
I think probably. I forgot.
Maybe it had nothing to do with me. Yeah,
it had nothing to do with you.
Just your own pep talk to yourself.
It was kind of like my own locker room where I was like, getting really.
You were doing that, and you were like smashing Gatorade bottles on your forehead. It was like really intense.
If you were a celebrity where they like drop a whole thing of Gatorade on you because you won the big game, what color Gatorade are you hoping for?
I like that you call them a celebrity, like not like an athlete.
Sure, a sports celebrity. If you were a basketball celebrity, okay.
I'm sorry. What color? Something like it's something like really ill thought out, like not well thought out. I would do red because it's my favorite, and then I would be covered in red dye 40. And I'm also allergic to red 40, so like slightly, not allergic, but I like get irritated skin. So I probably would be just like in hives as a celebrity. I'd make it on the cover of some tabloid, surely.
Some celebrity magazine like Sports Illustrated.
Some celebrity sports magazine. Sports Illustrated! Yeah, I'd probably be on Sports Illustrated for kids with my like big faux pas. What about you? Yours would probably be gross, like orange or lemon or lime or some shit.
Hurtful. I mean, those are some of my favorite flavors. If I were doing it for the optics on television, I think it'd be most grabby to do like the one of the blues.
I was thinking that too, actually. And I like that grape. What about a frost? Like, would that look cool, or would that just look like dirty mop water? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if you put a grayish blue.
The purple one would look cool, but it also might be looking like Fabuloso, you know?
That's a good point. I
think I would for the vibes. Well, I don't know. It depends on what the sport is, because I would want it to color theory wise. If I'm doing it against like green grass, I guess you want red so it pops. Versus like somewhere else, I want maybe blue against like a yellow orange basketball court. You know what I mean?
So where is this red carpet? I mean, sporting event taking place? Because that would also like make a difference.
That sound has never come out of my mouth. It's like a dragon. Let me think. I don't know. I have no idea.
Like a basketball court is like orangey, a field is green,
a pool is blue, so then you want like yellow Gatorade.
Yeah. Well, no, you want red because then it goes in the water, like shark, you know. Or like someone's on their period.
Okay, that's my answer then. That's what I'd like. All of a sudden, I'd like to be a swimming celebrity.
Suddenly you're a swim celebrity. Like RJ.
No, he actually
Poolside guru. Shout out.
He actually recently just hit 50K on social media.
Yeah, I was like scrolling through TikTok, and he's always coming up on my FYP, and I'm like, anytime I see a pool, I'm like, there's my poolside guy, my RJ right there.
He's trying to be a swimfluencer. That's the thing.
And it's so funny because then they try to show me other swim stuff, and I'm like, no, you've misunderstood. I'm not in that life. I just follow RJ and support from the
There's
sidelines,
only one naked man I want on my screen.
Right. Well, I wouldn't go that far, but I will say, as far as like swimming content about how to swim, it's like not really something I'm looking for on as far as like tuning out. Oh, do you like my new microphone thing?
Yeah. Are we? So you look like, by the way, a celebrity. You're singing.
I don't know why I did this. I just felt like holding a microphone instead of the one that keeps swinging around and creaking and hitting me in the knee.
Well, I'm sure I know why, because you've been on tour. Does it feel like you're on the stage?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, and you know what I realized? This is so embarrassing. They have like this like disinfectant for mics. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh yeah, that's good that they have that, because when I feel like afterward I get like, I keep hitting my face on it, and I get like zits on my chin, and I'm like, that's embarrassing. Like, how close am I putting this microphone to my face?
Yeah, I've done
that other
too.
People are just like constantly talking into. So yeah, I feel like we've all been there if you've done a show on the stage many times. Like, us have anyway. I don't know if anyone else has been there. Maybe if you're in like a choir or something, or do like shows stand up, whatever. But man, I feel like at a certain point,
and also think about like all the other people who like spit on it. Like, what if that rubs
I
against your
don't
face? There
want
there have been a
to.
few times where like I got so close to the microphone, like my teeth bumped into it, and I was like,
Yep.
did everyone just hear it go thunk?
Clink.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably, at least because I always think the same thing. So we must just be okay. Glad it's not just me, because that would have been really embarrassing if you were like horrified.
It's kind of like when Leona was like leaning into the microphone.
Yeah. And it's like, is that what I do? Like, do I just sound like that the whole time? Maybe. And then my teeth just hitting it. Like, it sounds like I'm the worst live performer ever. But
how is tour going?
It's good. We have like a month now before the next show. So when this comes out, I think we'll be like heading to Texas and Omaha and all sorts of places. So, and Portland and Seattle. So
nice.
Come check us out.
You just had shows last night, yesterday?
I did in Detroit and Indianapolis.
How was it?
And it was very fun. It was very fun. They were easy to make fun of.
Okay.
They were easy to find 1-star reviews of. Let's put it that way. I mean, kind of every city is. But yeah, no, it's been really fun. It's been pretty low key. It's been a lot of sibling bonding, which, has its ups and downs. Yeah, it's I'm tired, but what else is new?
I don't think I've known a moment you weren't tired. The day you're like, I feel refreshed, I'm going to go, oh my God, call the police.
True. Something's gone terribly wrong. Yeah, it's good though. But why? What are you up to? Why do you have a reason you drank this week? I'm trying to think of. I don't even know what day it is or where I am.
Me either, but I don't have as good of a reason as you. Today, I think I drink for a good reason. I don't know. I'm being a little preemptive here, but it feels like a stormy, cloudy kind of day.
Fun.
Now, I also maybe have just slept through this part of the day too much recently, and this is just what it always looks like, and then it gets crazy hot. But right now, it feels like there's promise of it being kind of cooler today.
Okay.
In which case, it won't be as
Some
miserable.
autumnal vibes. Yeah.
Yeah. Which I know is just like not going to happen for quite a while. But today I feel like there's hope that one day it won't be so miserable.
This comes out in September, and so we're recording well in advance. So maybe by the time it comes out, you'll have gotten a little cloud cover, maybe.
That's a great point. So maybe this is actually just like a taste of the real time that the people are hearing this.
Right. It'll just be more relevant for everybody,
Yeah. I don't think I have anything else.
Did you get a bevy?
I have a Beveragino. My DoorDash came. I had it sent out, as you do.
Yeah, it is sent out. You sent out for your drink, your bevy.
I did, and I got 2 because I knew I'd chug one. So now I've got another one for sipping.
Right. What did you order?
I just got me a little iced tea. So
nice.
Something gentle for the tummy.
Just a gentle little tea.
Well, I woke up today feeling kind of like crap, and I've heard that it's a cortisol thing. I don't know how true that is, but sometimes I wake up and I think I wake up earlier than my body or brain are prepared for, and then I feel like I want to throw up. You know what I mean?
Oh,
no?
Like physically sick?
Like I feel nauseous and like disgusting.
Oh, weird.
And I've heard that's a cortisol thing that like my body just hasn't caught up yet. But anyway, I felt like poop.
Oh no, I hate that.
It's figured out now. I think I just need to eat something.
I mean, that usually helps. Yeah.
Anyway, why do you drink?
Well, Leona starts preschool on Monday. I'm gonna cry. It's so scary, and she's like growing up. She's a little kid, and she's like just a little kid. She's like a 3-year-old. I don't know. It's just crazy. I'm like, this is
my fingers.
I know. And when this comes out, it'll be less than a month before she's 4.
Shut up. I literally sometimes in my mind, I still think she just learned how to chew. Like
Right. Like she barely knows how to fucking roll over. And now it's like, oh good. She slammed the door in my face and said like, I can't even think of an example because it's just so beyond my comprehension. Anyway,
that's wild.
It's all very fun and wonderful, but slipping through my fingers,
Wow.
Yeah, it just goes fast, man. It's like, I know they say that. I know it's a cliche, but it's a true cliche. And it's exciting. It's fun, and it's great that like she'll be in school all day. So it's like, hey,
sure. You made it. You finally got to this
I
spot
know, it
where
really feels like I got a lot more time on my hands all of a sudden.
you're about to actually say you feel refreshed, and I'm gonna go, wait a minute here.
Yeah, right. I filled every waking minute with like other shit to do that I should just be using to sleep. But yeah, no. It'll be good, but it's just a little bittersweet, you know.
It's wild. It's not even my kid, and I don't even see her all that often, but it really does feel like she's only been here for like a year, and now you're
It's
saying there's been
weird.
4 of them.
No,
Like,
I know it's so
what?
trippy because I'm like, I just moved here, and then I'm like, well, that was like 5 years ago, you know. Whoa, it's just crazy. But I'll probably post a little back to school photo, but like obviously X out all the identifying details. But yeah, no, it's exciting, and she's really happy, and she like loves going to school and seeing friends and stuff. So you
Obviously,
know,
one of the important questions to ask, in which, depending on how you answer, I'll judge you as a mother.
right?
Your favorite question to be asked.
Yep, yep. Most of them.
Did you take her back to school shopping?
Not yet. We're in a little tricky situation because she was signed up for one school and we started there in the summer. And then we managed to get her into a school that was much closer to our house and we preferred it. And so we're kind of switching. But she was also in a different school in the spring. And so, or like a toddler program. And so now this is her third school this year. And she's getting a little freaked out. So we're trying to like
Gotcha.
be very low key. But we did like I do have like a little plan for the day before because they say you can bring in like a stuffy for like rest
Aw.
time and stuff. So we're gonna like have her, pick out a special school stuffy and all that stuff. And
Cute.
got her like a Dino Ranchers like nap mat, little sleeping bag that she's obsessed with. And
Did she get to, if she didn't go school shopping and like pick out like folders and stuff, I don't think she even needs folders yet. But
yeah,
like,
they don't have that. Yeah, it's like the literal shopping list is stuffed animal, nap mat, and
gotcha.
like raincoat. So I was like, well, I'm not taking her to pick all that out because I'm gonna wait till they're on sale and buy the ones I like.
Does she
I want.
have a particular, I guess what I'm getting to is, did she get to pick
Mm-hmm.
out like a backpack or a lunchbox?
Mm-hmm.
Dare I ask
But she's
what the lunchbox is?
the lunchbox is Spidey,
Love it.
of course. And then the backpack is Lion King, which she doesn't really watch Lion King, but her name's Leona and she likes lion. It's her favorite animal. So
You're
she has like an
indoctrinating her.
Adidas. Well, and my sister worked at Adidas outlet, so I got 60% off. So I was like, here we go. So I
Yeah.
bought that. And then she has her Spidey lunchbox. But yeah, I mean, she's so
Precious.
low key, she like it's fine. She'll get her little nap mat and her and that's kind of all they have at age 3 or 4. They
Oh,
don't
the
really need
life.
highlighters and shit yet, I guess. Oh, she does have a Lilo and Stitch pencil case that she convinced Blaze to buy her.
She is so
So
cool.
she does carry that around. But yeah, no, it's fun. It's just, and it's fun because like we're doing like shrinky dinks together now and like stuff that I like have a lot of fun doing too. So it's fun because it's like, oh, she's like more of a kid, like we can
Yeah,
interact and play. But it's also like, oh,
I know. But
my baby.
it's gotta be fun to be able to like now actually have like two-sided fun versus like I'm watching her and we're calling it fun. You know what I
It
mean?
is, and she makes me laugh. Like she's funny, so it's like, oh, this is actually can be really fun. Like
Yeah,
sometimes,
we're just yapping. We're just hanging
we're
out.
just yapping, and we're like, let's talk about dad, And then she'll go, Christine, and I'm like, yeah, and then I go, wait, what did you just call me? And she's like, where did Blaze go? And I'm like, okay. So 3 going on 16, I guess, but
Perfect.
yeah,
Very cute.
yeah.
Well, what do you drink this week? Not why, but what?
Well, what else is new? I got my never-ending Angry Orchard box in my mini fridge. It does kind of feel like Mary Poppins. Like every time I open, I'm like, there's still some left. But I'm not complaining. So cheers. Got some cider. And you got some tea, and we're gonna chug-a-lug along.
We're just gonna yap. That's what we do best.
We're gonna yap our booties off, I guess. All right, we're here to tell you about Cure today. It's a plant-based hydrating electrolyte drink mix with no added sugar, so it's a natural, delicious, and convenient way to keep you and your whole family hydrated, unless you live in my family, in which case Blaze hides them from me, so I don't know where they are. And he claims he's not hiding them, but then why are they all the way in that weird corner cabinet?
Yeah, if you happen to be a thirsty little rat, I gotta tell you, we have the cure because Cure is here. There is
yes.
healthy hydration. It's the cleanest way to hydrate, and Cure is made with clean ingredients, like Christine said, 0 added sugar, giving you pure hydration without any of the junk, and it's only 25 calories per serving. It's just clean, natural hydration that keeps you feeling energized without the crash. I love things without the crash.
Science shows that staying hydrated often requires more than water alone. Hydration is key to feeling your best, and Cure makes it easier than ever. Apparently, 75% of Americans are dehydrated. I would say probably 100% of our listeners and myself included, just for a variety of reasons. I'm like, okay, where's mine now? I feel like I need to go take it now. And so this is science-backed. It's really good quality stuff, and it tastes delicious.
Cure, the electrolyte drink mix that tastes as amazing as it makes you feel. And if you don't happen to have that weird little cubby that Blaze hides it all in, then go get some for yourself.
And That's Why I Drink listeners, Cure is offering 20% off your first order. Stay hydrated and feel your best by visiting curehydration.com/drink and using promo code DRINK at checkout.
That's curehydration.com/drink and use code DRINK for 20% off your first order. Well, I've got something extra neat for you today. I am pretty jazzed about these notes. It's not your everyday haunting.
Okay.
And I got me a feeling you're gonna like it just based on your past interests. So I'm just gonna say the title and then you tell me where we stand. Okay? You just
go for it.
You just get ready for that. Okay. There's 2 names to it. The first one you're not gonna care so much about. It's called, by name, the Moberly Jourdain incident, but it is also known as the Versailles Time Slip.
Ah! Okay, first of all, I love an incident. I love and hate an incident, but I'm intrigued by an incident.
I love an incident when I'm not involved.
In the nighttime,
Yeah, I get it.
I just always feel that an incident is something worth pursuing, maybe from afar. But so I am intrigued deeply, and to hear it's a time slip, now count me in. Yes, you're right.
Spoken like a true detective from the beginning of that sentence to the end.
That's right. That was exactly very intelligently put.
It was. Right. You really did. You were like, I feel like an incident is worth pursuing. Okay, Olivia Benson.
I forget what I actually even said. So thank you for reminding me, but I'm glad it sounded relatively coherent.
Perfect. Okay, so the year is 1901.
Or is it?
It's actually August 1901. And our 2 main characters, which I love that their initials are C and E. Love that.
Aww.
Are Charlotte. Her full name is Charlotte Ann Moberly. I'm just going to call her Charlotte. Big C. And then Eleanor Jourdain.
Aww.
And
Charlotte and Eleanor. Okay.
I know. Like, relax.
Such Victorian names. I love it.
I know. Like, they're way too fancy for me.
Mm-hmm.
So Charlotte, I'm just going to give you some backstory on, like, how they were viewed in town.
Okay.
Just to give you an idea of their reputation, I suppose.
Right.
So Charlotte, her father was a college headmaster. He was also the Bishop of Salisbury.
Whoa.
And
that sounds important.
It does. And also she was the first principal of St. Hugh's College, which I guess was the women's part of Oxford University at the time.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So
the first president?
The first president of the Women's College of Oxford.
All right.
Eleanor ends up being Charlotte's vice president or vice principal. Sorry. And also her eventual successor. So when Charlotte dies far off into the future, Eleanor took over as principal.
Okay. So predecessor, sort of.
Yes. So Eleanor.
Or no.
Successor.
Afterward. Successor. You're right. Yes. Thank you.
Eleanor also tutors kids in Paris. She authored many textbooks and what's happening? Your eyes.
Just remembered what this story is.
Oh.
This is, I've only heard about it one time, and it of course, on Astonishing Legends, but it was like so mind blowing, and I am so excited right now. I just realized what you said earlier, and it's coming together in my head. The French thing got me, teaching French.
Anyone in like the Versailles Time Slip didn't do it for you, but okay.
I know, that's why I'm like, what is wrong with me? But there's a Versailles in Kentucky that they pronounce Versailles.
Of course, in Kentucky they call it Versailles.
Exactly. So I very quickly, my brain went to that, and then I kind of forgot about Paris for a minute.
Everyone watching this on YouTube thought you were leaning in for a kiss because your eyes got so white and near.
Is that what I look like when I lean in for a kiss?
Only in my wildest dreams. I don't know.
Yeah, with just bug eyes.
Just approaching.
No, sorry. You said for some reason it was about her tutoring French because they went on a big thing about like how much French would she know and would she know the history versus the language. I don't know. They get in the weeds on that show. So I remember that specifically, but oh my God, I'm so excited. Okay.
I actually on my own also thought, I was like, how much French does she know? Because they end up speaking to people and I assumed they would speak in French, right?
That's what I was wondering. It's intriguing, right? It's like, huh.
Yeah. So yeah, Eleanor, so she's currently the vice principal. She's eventually going to be the principal after Charlotte. She tutors kids in Paris. She authored a lot of textbooks that they ended up using in the school. She also helped found and was in charge of a boarding school day school. And her father was a vicar of Ashburn in Derbyshire, I think.
Oh my Christ, all these names. The titles.
I know. Really all you need to remember is that they were both relatively esteemed academics. They were
right.
They weren't some Joe Schmoes on the street, especially in 1901.
Right, for women too, right? Like that's, to find educated and like academic people in academics,
so that's really, you don't have to remember any of the information, just know that they were like well-to-do or at least seen that way. So before actually working together as principal, vice principal, the two decided like, let's get to know each other first. Let's take a trip to France. I can't imagine that.
We were like, let's start a podcast. They were like, let's go to Versailles. I was like, let's go to Versailles.
I think the first time when you and I hung out, we were like, let's sit on a tractor and see how this goes.
That's right. We went to a hayride.
And if it doesn't work out, we'll never talk to each other again. But they went to fucking Versailles, as you said.
Shit, no wonder we didn't get a time slip at the tractor ride. Bummer.
Maybe we did. Maybe this is all one big time slip, and then we'll blank and I'm 24 again. That'd be lovely.
Would it be? Go all the way back? I don't think so. Don't take me back, please.
Well, okay. I only saw this on one source, but I just still want to put it out there for the vibes that apparently on this day in France, it was a very particularly stormy day. Lots of electrical energy in the air, as you
Interesting.
So the women go and check out the Palace of Versailles, and love this for them. They weren't all that impressed. That would have also been me. I'd be like, girl, let's go somewhere else.
Please. Oh, Kim Kardashian and Kanye like base their house off this? Big whoop,
if that's how you pitch it to me, I'm like such a stupid American. If you told me that, I'd be 10% more inclined.
I think
to go.
they actually did, or it was either that, or they designed, or they tried to hold their wedding there. There was something about the Kardashians having to do with Versailles. I'm pretty sure, but I could be wrong on that.
I'm so impressed that you're teaching me about this.
I mean, I could also be just completely making it up and like teaching you less, like making you dumber, which is entirely possible.
It couldn't be possible. I'm already as dumb as they come. But I love the role reversal.
Oh, they did get married at Versailles. Okay.
Lovely.
Isn't that nuts? First of all, to not be impressed is crazy, and I don't believe you because this fucking place is crazy.
I wonder, this is so stupid. I wonder if it's because it was 1901 and like the history was all a little closer. Like it didn't feel so like this ancient landmark. I don't know. It was still like 100 years later since everything. I don't know.
And also it was like so glamorous and like upscale. You wouldn't see something like that even on TV. Like you didn't have TV to like see pictures and stuff. So I'm like, it's really okay. I mean, whatever.
It is shocking. Although at the same time, I know that if I'm not invested in the history of a certain landmark, to me, it's just a building. So maybe that was what they were going through.
French people, as French,
that's true.
They went there to like learn about France. And I mean, okay, here's what I'll say. Maybe it was like one of those situations that I read about on Yelp, like a 1-star review where it was like, oh, we got like a rude comment from somebody who worked there. And then like it was really muddy and we got our like little stockings all in a mud puddle. And, maybe they just had a bad experience and they were
they did.
Ugh. Oh, okay. Fair point. Fair enough. So yeah, they were disappointed. I guess I could give them that. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. That is a good point.
No, you're right.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not like Honestly, also given the time period in 1901, it's not like they had like arcades and escape rooms to go to on top of
That's
it.
what I'm
Like
saying. Like, it's not even like you have fake stuff like this, like Disney World to go to like pretend you're at Versailles, you know, or
all you
like
had
at
was
the
big
castle.
boring history. Come on.
Yeah, all you had is books. Boo.
I'm sorry. Education's important. Anyway.
I just don't believe they were not impressed. I like to think maybe they were just like disappointed about something, like a muddy. I'm gonna go with the muddy stockings.
Sure. I think the reason that a lot of sources, it was not just one source, a lot of sources, the story has become that they were uninterested. And I think it's only proven by the fact that at some point they wandered off from their tour group and like didn't seem
Oh, okay,
interested
so maybe
in.
the tour was dusty and crusty. You
Maybe
know,
the tour guide was just kind of like not good at his job. He wasn't
I mean,
engaging.
1901. Yeah, maybe he was like rude to the women. You know, who
Yeah,
knows?
maybe. And also, I mean,
That's like quite a stretch. Maybe he was just an asshole. I mean, it could be.
well, also they seemed more interested in the garden specifically, so maybe they were like,
Uh,
"Let's just ditch this tour because I don't care about the inside. I want to go see the gardens." I
all
don't.
the like gilded nonsense. Yeah, like go to the gardens. That's fair.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So, the women go check out the palace. Allegedly, are not impressed. Then they head to an area called the Petit Trianon, which I am absolutely butchering with my accent. Sorry,
That
but
sounds good
thank you.
to
Petit
me. Not that I know.
Trianon. Um,
Whoa.
I don't know.
Shit.
So, in case you don't know what this place is, I did not. It was a private chateau on the property that was originally given to 19-year-old Marie Antoinette by her husband, Louis XVI. And he gave it to her to use as kind of like an escape from the world. And,
As an escape room. Oh.
you know, I lied. They did go to an escape room that day. Um, So yeah, it was just given to Marie Antoinette by her husband
It's
as
like her
a
she shed.
retreat, a she shed. Yes, except a beautiful private chateau.
Right? Same thing.
A she chateau.
A she chateau. That's so
It's
cute. A
beautiful.
she chateau.
You know she
that
calls it a
place is
shishi.
shishi. Oh, it is. You
Oh,
know.
au revoir. On my way to my shishi.
Au revoir.
Bisous,
Bisous,
bisous.
bisous. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao. Back to my shishi. Oh man, we would be so
I'm into this.
lobotomized in France.
We would have been locked into a she shed, if you know what I mean. We would have been put away for life.
And all you would hear
For
for the rest of
sure.
time is us just going shishi, shishi. in
Yeah,
there.
like giggling to ourselves. Yeah, they would have made the right decision, I think. Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, yes, the Petit Trianon is her shishi. And
Okay, got it.
the French have turned this off for sure.
Oh, imagine like a cute little cabin. It's like your she shed. Okay, I will. It's fine. Don't worry about it. We'll talk about it another time.
I can't discuss it right now. We should.
Okay.
That's what we
I
should have called the
actually can't
plunger
discuss
for. We
it.
should have called it our shishi.
She.
Okay, so on their way to the shishi, they got lost. And keep in mind, the gardens here are like, I don't even, I wouldn't even be able to grasp the scope of this, but they're like 5 miles long in all different directions with like hedges and all sorts of places. It's very easy to get lost.
Right, they're just like sprawling.
They're kind of sprawling, and they were intentionally looking for this area, the Shishi area.
Okay.
But they got lost, or the area that they were walking to was closed, and so they decided that they were going to try to just find a new way in, basically. Like where's a back entrance? And this, since it's obviously closed, but I won't settle for that. We're gonna go find a workaround. So
A portal, perhaps.
accidentally, maybe a portal. So
Hmm.
they try to find their way around. A lot of skeptics will say they simply just got lost and don't know what they're talking about, and that's the end of the story. On the other hand,
if that were me, yes, that would be the answer. But I don't think that they were a lot smarter than me, and I think they were also a lot more
and
had their wits about them.
and to be fair, they had a travel guidebook that like was telling them
Uh-huh.
exactly how to get around. So they're like, we literally had a map with us. We were following the map, and we still just
And
couldn't figure
they're
it out.
traveling as adult women. Like it's not like they're like little kids who've never left home before. Like they're
Yeah.
grown working women with an academic background. Yeah, I just feel like it's a stretch to say they're just too dumb to like understand they got lost. But
Well, so they are figuring their way over to the Petit Trianon, and they end up passing right by the wide main street that would have taken them there, almost as if they somehow didn't even see the path right in front of them.
dun dun dun.
While walking on the property, the air seemed to get very intense very quickly, and the
OMG.
energy shifted
OMG.
to a point where they were quoted saying, "Birds stopped singing and leaves stopped rustling." It just became
Okay.
very silent.
It's like aliens.
I know. So the world around them gets eerily silent, and they recalled the sun even setting in a weird way where it cast an odd glow on everything, but with no shadows. They
Ew! What is that? It's so like Truman Show. That's so creepy.
they both started feeling weirdly sad, depressed even, and
Oh.
Eleanor says it was, quote, "as if I were walking in my sleep and the heavy dreaminess was oppressive." So while walking, they actually spot a woman leaning out of her window, shaking a cloth as if she's doing laundry.
Oh.
But weirdly, she seems to be moving in slow motion.
This is so creepy to me.
They also happen across what looked like an abandoned farmhouse or farmhouses, depending on the source, with a lot of outdated farm equipment sitting out front of the buildings, including a very old looking plow. Even in 1901, they were like, this plow is very fucking old. Why would it be here?
Wow. I'm not
Um,
impressed.
yeah, I'm not impressed. Keep it moving. Charlotte remembers thinking that it was in Eleanor's character to stop and ask people for directions. And since they saw this woman shaking out this cloth, she thought it was weird that Eleanor didn't stop and say, "Hey, can you show us the way to the Petit Trianon?" So that's just something to remember for later,
Intriguing. Okay.
that Eleanor didn't seem to
Right.
start up a conversation. Well, while still wandering the grounds and looking for the area, they bump into two men who they assume are gardeners because next to them is a wheelbarrow and I think a shovel. So they assumed they were gardeners. However, they were dressed in funny looking long green and gray coats, and they also wore tricorn hats, which were no longer of the era.
Mm-hmm.
The two men pointed the women to continue straight on their path, but the women remembered that they spoke in weird mechanical manners,
Oh.
like animatronics or something.
Yeah, this feels like they are at Disney World, like by accident. You know what I mean? Like a fake.
Can you imagine
version.
if they just went over to Disneyland Paris and that was it?
That was the time slipped into Disneyland Paris. Yeah.
Problem solved. So they continued on the path again after seeing this one woman moving in slow motion, Eleanor seemingly not noticing her, and then these mechanical men in old-fashioned clothing.
Blech.
Eleanor then remembers them walking past a cottage and seeing a woman and a girl standing by the doorway, also in outdated clothes. And the woman seemed to be in the middle of passing a jug to the young girl, but Eleanor said that the two looked eerily still. So, like, she was handing her the jug, but no one was grabbing for it. She wasn't reaching any. It was almost like they were a painting, like the mannequins.
Oh, so it's like in frozen, like in
yeah,
like mid movement. Oh God,
like
okay.
mannequins. Yeah.
Yeah, yuck.
So this is when she also noticed that not only was the world around them strangely silent, but everything,
God.
not just the women and girl, seemed flat and lifeless. She said that even the trees looked two-dimensional. They also, like the sun, didn't cast any shade or shadows on anything. And Eleanor said everything looked unnatural and therefore unpleasant.
Ooh, you know what? And that feels like that uncanny valley, right? And then you feel dread because it's like this feels like normal life, except there are no normal natural things that are supposed to be here. That must feel so disorienting.
Especially if the like 3 encounters they've had so far is that one person's in slow motion, two people are mechanical, and another one is acting like a mannequin. It's like none of them are acting like real people of the moment.
All of it feels less and less like comforting as you go. And then like realizing, wait a minute, there's no sound, there's no like that's got to be fucking terrifying.
Like even the atmosphere is uncanny valley if there's no sound.
Yes. Or like shadow. Ugh.
Yeah. Can you imagine no shadow, just everything's the same, just lit the same no matter where you look?
It's really
Creepy.
unsettling. Yeah.
As they continued on, the two women began to feel an even heavier sadness, and soon they came across a wooden kiosk, which I didn't really understand what a kiosk was, but it's essentially like a stand, like a concession stand is what it looked like to me.
Right.
In the kiosk sat a man with a cape and a wide-brimmed hat.
Oh, good. Just the man I wanted to see.
Lord Licorice from Candyland.
I was going to say either the Hat Man, yep, there you go, or Lord Licorice. Yep.
It's always one of them.
It's got to be one of them.
So they saw this man. He apparently had a very sinister air about him.
Great.
When he did look up at them from under his hat, he was glaring in a really dark way. His energy was super dark. Apparently, they didn't even feel like he was totally looking at them, but through them. Almost as if he didn't even notice them. Eleanor was quoted saying, "The man slowly turned his face, which was marked by smallpox, and his complexion was very dark. The expression was evil and yet unseeing, and though I did not feel that he was looking particularly at us, I felt a repugnance to going past him." So they were afraid to even move near him.
Whoa! They didn't even think he saw them. They were just like, he is not good vibes. Wow, that's creepy.
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine looking in the eyes of someone who's not looking in your eyes. Ugh.
But like still feeling terrified of them, even though they can't see you.
In a way that you can't go past them. You can't walk past something that can't even see you.
Ew, I just got like skull chills. Scalp chills.
Yeah. Skills. No. So they
I don't have those. No.
They didn't say anything to the man. The man didn't say anything to them. But while feeling really uncomfortable near this guy, soon another man ran up to the women to talk to them. The woman said he had a very different energy. He did dress weirdly like everybody else had so far, but they remembered how nice he seemed. And apparently this man told them, "You're going the wrong way," which the vibe of this other man told me that. But
yeah,
you're going the wrong way. You need to turn right and get back to the house.
Do you think he knew?
I mean, for him, that is an interesting point because
no one else saw them,
but this guy did, right?
Yeah.
I had the
and he had a good
thought.
energy. Like he must have been like, "I will guide you back. You've accidentally entered the wrong space.
Listen to me. You have to leave." Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, I have chills.
And I wonder if for him, maybe like, what if he thought he was seeing a glitch in the Matrix in some way because he was like, these two women look really fucking weird compared to everybody else in this world. Like they're not from here. You know, I wonder if on the flip side, I wonder if they both had a time slip and saw each other.
But then wouldn't he just be like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, I guess he would.
I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe he's like,
I don't know.
A time slip.
Indeed. I've been waiting for one of these.
Another one. I've been waiting.
To be fair, if I ever experience a time slip, my first thought would be, I've waited a long time for this.
You're right. Although we do have Reddit, and I feel like we got primed via Reddit versus them back then didn't really have that kind of access. But, you know, who knows?
Fair point. So the guy says, "You're not supposed to be here. You have to turn right and get home. Or get back to the main house." And so the women they turn right, they start walking. They turn around a few moments later to thank him, and he has disappeared. Not only that, the man in the wide brim hat has disappeared, and the entire wooden kiosk has disappeared.
Oh, shit. Okay.
They follow his directions on how to get back, or they think they're heading back, but then they realize they're walking over a bridge. They walk through an arbor, and they walk through a meadow. And just walking. And soon they realize that they are in this garden where they see a nearby building with a chapel, and they have reached the Petit Trianon. So he ended up guiding them straight to where they wanted to go anyway.
Well, that's good.
And once they arrived, Charlotte was kept talking about in her.
She was just bitching about this whole.
She's just fucking yapping. In her account, one of the things that she mentioned very heavily was that once they arrived to this garden and in the Petit Trianon, the first thing she noticed was that there was this woman in the garden sketching some of the trees.
Oh, okay.
Some sources say that this woman was sitting in the grass. Some say she was sitting on a terrace. It doesn't matter. She was in the garden and she was sketching the trees.
Okay.
Charlotte actually described her by saying she had on a shady white hat perched on a good deal of fair hair that fluffed around her forehead. Her light summer dress was arranged on her shoulders, and her dress was old-fashioned and rather unusual, specifically the fact that she had on a green shawl.
Okay.
So Charlotte recalls this woman sketching, and ever since they made eyes or recognized each other, she remembers this woman just staring at her the entire time and refusing to look away.
Spooky.
When the women continued to walk around the gardens, uh, the same woman that was staring at Charlotte kept staring at her. Like, as they were walking the whole garden, kept staring at her.
That's so creepy.
And Charlotte even said that the longer she looked at the woman, the more she realized that the woman was, quote, pale, melancholic, and strangely translucent. Soon as they're walking past that building with the chapel that's in the garden, and a man comes running out of the chapel. He throws the door open, he runs out, and he's like, you're way too close to this chapel. This is the queen's private entrance. You can't be here. And he directs them back to the main house. And from there, they end up meeting up with their original tour group.
Whoa, okay.
On their way back to the main house, they recalled that even though they were retracing their steps from earlier, the bridge that they crossed was now missing, as well as many other landmarks that they had passed. The cottages they saw earlier were no longer there. And soon the eerie energy went away, although they later recalled both feeling nauseous and disoriented for the rest of the day.
Oh, I wonder if that dread went away or not. You know?
Yeah.
I guess if you're feeling nauseous and disoriented, probably not. It probably still feels pretty shitty.
So here's what I thought of all of this, the weirdest part, because this could not be us. Neither Charlotte nor Eleanor ever mentioned any of their experience to each other. They didn't say a damn word to each other. They just both happened to have this happen. And
that's what I wonder, because then I'm like, is it one of those things where you're like, I don't know you well enough, you know what I mean? Like, because they're getting to know each other and they just work together and they're like, hey, we don't.
That's a great point. I hadn't thought
like,
about that.
How would you even bring that up? Like,
that's a great point.
Especially if, like, you don't want to get sent away, right? As like a woman back then, you don't want to sound totally nuts. I feel like you'd have to really trust the other person.
I had not thought about that, because in my mind, I was like, why on earth would you not look at each other and be like, that was fucking
immediately.
Crazy? Yeah.
Yeah. Like, did you see what I saw?
Interesting. Okay. Good point. Well, it wasn't until
I mean, again, couldn't be us, to be clear. Yeah, couldn't be me.
No, I'd be like, look, we just met and you're going to think I'm the wildest person in the world. However, we need to talk about this.
I'll be like, let me go first. Okay. Don't worry. We're on the same page.
So a week later, they had parted ways and they were writing a letter to each other. I think Charlotte was writing to Eleanor.
She's like, so
yeah, I think she was
how
like,
are things?
Isn't it kind of? I think she was kind of flirting with dabbling with mentioning it.
She's like, what a nice time we had, huh?
Like, did you have any odd experiences? Ha 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 ha! Just kidding. LOL. JK. Please don't institutionalize me.
Yeah.
So
my husband.
I think I'm assuming that multiple letters were exchanged back and forth, but I think this might have also just been in one letter. I don't totally. Maybe she was writing it as. You know, at the time when it took like 20 minutes to write a letter, maybe by the end she was like, fuck it. Is this place haunted to you?
Yeah, like, honestly, I'm not going to wait for 3 more rounds of letters to get to this. Like, let's just cut to the chase now.
I don't have a month to dilly-dally. Just tell me. And if and then don't take the job if you think I'm crazy.
Right.
So she said, do you think the property was haunted? And Eleanor wrote back immediately and said, hell yeah. And by immediately, I mean probably 19 days. But
yeah, I was going to say, post it. Yeah. How many business days? I don't know. But eventually.
Christine, imagine a time where you say something that risque in a letter and you have to wait like multiple weeks. Like, imagine the tossing and turning you would do every night, wondering if you went too far with your writing.
And then when it like gets really far, you're like, oh shit, by now she's definitely gotten it and I haven't heard back. It's like, oh God, you got to be constantly like waiting for the other shoe to drop.
And you don't have a copy of it. You can't read it back to your friends and be like, was this too much?
Good point.
You just have to be like, I think I said this, but I don't remember how I said it. What if it came across
and they're
weird?
Like, whoa. And you're like, well, no, not like that. Oh God, is it bad? That's how I would go.
I truly could not make it in a world where I had to rely on just writing somebody and then waiting. Waiting alone couldn't happen.
I would have had to like walk there.
When
I would have like mailed it and then walked there. And then like, it would have just been really stupid.
When our grandparents are like, it's those damn phones, they were not lying, because the way my brain is rotted from the inside out when it comes to instant gratification, there's no way I could wait. There's no fucking way.
The impatience is already very, very limited in my personality. So
no, it couldn't happen. But anyway, she waited. She ended up getting a response. Both of them agreed the place was haunted. So then they briefly discussed some of their experiences that they had that day, but they didn't really go super in depth, which now that you made that point, of course they didn't totally mention everything that happened. They just kind of were testing the waters on what they could say to each
Mm.
other. So different sources say a month later or 3 months later, they decided, hey, let's write down our entire experiences in depth separately from each other, and then we're going to compare notes.
Okay. Oh, see, they're academics.
I feel like this bonded them and actually got her the job to be the vice principal.
I hope so.
After
If
this,
nothing else,
can you imagine
right?
having this back and forth for months and months just for Charlotte to go, actually, it's not working. I think you're
You
not
know
gonna
what's the like phrase like, oh, actually, we've gone with someone else, or what is like the phrasing that they always say, like
What would they
trying to
have
be
said
nice,
back
but it
then?
just fucking slaps you in the face.
It's like we're going a different direction. I don't know.
Different direction. That's what it is. We're going in a different direction. Oh, fuck you.
And yeah, anyway, we could derail very quickly on that.
Anyway, yeah.
So a few things that, because remember, they wrote it all out. They hadn't totally discussed
Yeah.
with each other. A few things about each other's accounts freaked them out that they were so overlapping. And in some ways they were overlapping, but in different ways. Namely, that they had different experiences of similar memories of who they encountered. So,
their perceptions were different.
yeah, so one person would have like really weird feelings in areas where another one saw something.
Whoa. Okay, that's weird.
An example was that Eleanor never saw a woman shaking a cloth or a cottage that she was in. She doesn't remember a cottage at all, let alone a woman
Oh.
shaking a cloth. But she does remember having a really weird feeling about the air in that specific area that Eleanor described.
Weird.
And the thing that really freaked them out is that when Eleanor was like, yeah, and that woman who kept staring at us, or Charlotte or whoever, when she was like, that woman who kept staring at us when she was sketching in the garden, the other one was like, who the fuck are you talking about? I never saw a woman. We were by ourselves.
Ooh, okay, weird.
But and so I will say, although she didn't see the woman, she had a weird psychic feeling in that exact same spot. She ended up, this is a quote from her saying, as we approached the terrace, I remember drawing my skirt away with a feeling as though someone was near me and I had to make room, and then wondering why I had done that since we were alone.
Okay, but doesn't that just, ooh, I have chills. Doesn't that make you just think of all the times that you feel kind of weird, like someone's right by you or like looking at you and you're like, huh, that's odd.
The chills I have, it's
I have
crazy.
terrible chills. Yikes.
And also, what a dream team. One of them can sense things and one of them can see things.
Yes.
Isn't that
Wow.
fun?
It's like they were perfectly primed for this to happen.
So this motivated the women to start digging into the actual history of the property. Wish they had that tour guide now.
Yeah, they're like, I guess I care now.
All of a sudden, we should go back and do the tour again.
Listen, I'm really interested.
So they decided to dig into the history of the property to see what they could discover. Now, again, 1901. I am so impressed that they were able to find anything without the internet. Just throwing that out there.
They're academics, okay?
And that's where this goes, because thank God they know how to research.
Okay.
This is what they were able to discover without the internet, which means if they could do this, you can do just about anything. Women in STEM. They found maps from 1774, 1783, and 1789 that showed the following. A now removed bridge that they had walked across. It was the bridge they walked across that they couldn't find when they looked back.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
Remember they said, we were just walking here. Where the hell's the bridge?
Mm-hmm.
It existed in the 1780s.
Okay, 1780s. So now they're in 1901. What is the difference in time for
120 something years.
So if we were to see someone to be like there at time,
it's like 1800 going, or right? No, 1900.
So it'd be like right when they were there. Yeah. Creepy.
Fun. Okay, so if we see something from 1901,
how does it feel now that you're the
here,
old-fashioned ghost, huh?
must hurt. They also, through these maps, found the wooden cottage that Eleanor claimed she saw. It was in the exact same spot that she claimed to see it. The wooden kiosk that they stumbled upon and then couldn't find again. And gardens that they swear they saw and walked through, but in 1901 did not exist anymore. But they found them on the map.
Oh, creepy.
They also found photos, which I'm imagining is like oil portraits instead of like a Kodak situation. They found portraits of the property from decades before showing old farming buildings where one of them had seen a bunch of abandoned farming buildings and equipment, including the old plow. It was literally in pictures. And she was like, that was the fucking plow I saw.
Wow. They probably would have had cameras a couple decades earlier, right? Like late 1800s, because if that would
Hmm.
have been so yeah. So of the plow. Wow, that's creepy cuz like how would you know that?
Yeah. I don't know what a plow from the 1780s looks like.
Mm-mm.
But so they actually looked further into that specific plow and they were able to figure out that it was Louis XVI's actual plow that he sold during the French Revolution. And since that plow was sold during the French Revolution, the land had not been plowed that way again. So,
Wow. Okay, so there should be no reason for that to be anywhere
yeah.
on
So in
the property.
1901, why
Okay.
would there be a plow at all if it hadn't been plowed since the
Uh,
1700s?
that's creepy.
Side note, convinced that this could not be true because they were like, this is too fucking weird. The women
Right.
did go back and visit the grounds again and retrace their steps and confirmed they could not find anything that they had originally walked across.
Oh, it's creepy.
They also discovered the farm staff back in the day wore greenish gray coats.
Okay.
And they were like, that doesn't really look totally like what I saw. And then they ended up finding people that wore the exact same outfit they saw. And it was the outfits of Marie Antoinette's personal guards.
Okay, I see. So they that's I find that very like validating that they were like, actually no, these don't really look right. And then
Yeah.
found ones that did look right. Like they weren't like, yeah, totally, that's what I saw, you know.
And apparently, um, I did not look. This could have been such an ADHD rabbit hole. You have to be so proud of me. I didn't look into this. But apparently, the green outfits of farm staff, specifically in the 1780s, the green color was discontinued as part of the royal staff and is no longer a color used in France. So basically, the outfits that they saw, you can't even get an outfit like that now because they don't even
Right.
make them. So
You wouldn't even work in that. Yeah, okay. Wow. Wow.
and then the ones that they did find ended up looking like Marie Antoinette's personal guards. Now,
Jeez.
remember, there was a man who ran out of the chapel and told them that they were too close to the queen's private entrance and they needed to leave.
Yep.
That chapel had been bolted shut for a century. So no reason a man should have been able to run out of that thing.
Yikes.
In fact, the area they were in had been open to the public since the 1870s. So for the last 30 years by the time they got there. So there was no reason for someone to make them leave.
Wait, you said it was open or was not? Oh, it was open. So they were allowed to be there. Oh,
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
So when this guy is
Weird.
like, this is the private entrance for the queen, it hadn't
Right.
been a private entrance for 30 years.
Oh, that's creepy.
Now, assuming that the green outfits they saw were in fact Marie Antoinette's personal guards, then the person who told them that they needed to leave for the chapel because it was the private entrance might have been a
Right.
guy named Lagrange, who was also in the 1780s the one in charge of Marie Antoinette's private door. So they're thinking they ran into like another one of her guards.
Wow.
In the portraits that they were looking through when they found the plow, they also discovered one of a man in a cloak and a wide-brimmed hat with a very rough complexion. And they
I
believe
don't like this guy.
this was Comte de Vaudreuil.
Okay.
And he apparently was a traitor, ended up going against Marie Antoinette, something like that.
Ah.
And they also ended up finding, this is my favorite one. They found the personal diary of Marie Antoinette's seamstress without the internet. They just fucking found this. And
What?
they found her personal journal. And in it, this seamstress described the outfits that she had made for Marie Antoinette. And one of the ones that she had
Oh my God.
made was the exact outfit that they saw that woman in the garden wearing, which means that Charlotte and Eleanor may have ran into fucking Marie Antoinette.
Right, because and she was known to paint on the property, I think.
Yeah, and remember, this was her shishi. This was her private area.
This is her. This is her private entrance. Get away.
So
oh my God.
It would make sense that that no one else was there
Yeah.
except for them and this random woman. It was supposed to be her
Yeah.
private space. And no wonder she was staring at them like, get the fuck out of my private area. This is my shishi.
And also probably not like screaming because it's like, who are you and what are you? And like, why are you dressed that? Like, you probably look like totally out of place, out of sorts.
Yeah.
Like, it must just be so trippy.
So it would make sense. And also, like, the Versailles should have had more tourists in the area that's allegedly open to the public, but it was just
Right.
them,
Fair point.
this woman staring at them and obviously looking uncomfortable. They were there. And then a man coming
And
out saying, this is a private entrance. You have to leave.
and no sound and no,
Hmm.
yeah.
Um, Later in their research, Charlotte and Eleanor also found a portrait of Marie Antoinette in the same outfit they saw the woman wearing in the garden.
Oh my God, I wonder if it was like her favorite outfit. And that's why she was a ghost in it.
First of all, love that. I hadn't even thought about that being her ghost outfit. But what I thought an interesting add-on to that is that this portrait that they found of her wearing that outfit is considered to be one of the most realistic portraits of Marie Antoinette to have been made.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's
No big deal.
of the things she could have been wearing that they see her and happens to be claimed to be one of the most realistic things
The
that she
most
would have
accurate. Yeah.
worn. Keep in mind, like I already said this, but Marie Antoinette loved this garden. She was known to sketch out there. She was also known to be in that area at a particular time in history. She was sitting out in the garden sketching when she found out that an insurrection was approaching the castle, which would then lead to her imprisonment and ultimate death.
Dun, dun, dun.
When she was sitting out there that day that she was sitting out there and was told that it's a bad day for you. This is your last good day getting to sketch out in the garden. That day was on August 10th, 1792, and it's rumored that every August people still see Marie Antoinette in the garden. And Charlotte and Eleanor visited the palace on August 10th, the anniversary, 1901. So on the anniversary of her finding out that she was about to be arrested.
Like her last good day on the property, basically.
So the more that they looked into all this, the more that the women believed they somehow were transported back to her last good day.
Jeez. Ooh, I got the goose cam again. That is so creepy, dude.
They had different opinions. Charlotte thought more that they entered a time slip and witnessed the actual day in history.
Right.
Meanwhile, Eleanor claimed that the energy of the area kind of let them tap into Marie Antoinette's memories of her last happy moments.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I don't know which one. I would imagine it's more a time slip because the woman seemed to interact with them versus like you're just viewing through her eyes what happened.
Agreed. I feel like this, to me, it's a time slip because you're still, from your own perspective, experiencing everything. It's just like different.
Yeah, that's what I think, but I don't know.
Yeah, that would be my gut.
So remember I said that they visited the grounds again to see what they would find or not find. So when they went back, the property looked completely different and had allegedly been that way for decades. So it shouldn't have looked any different than the last time they were there, but it looked all of a sudden it looked like it was the 1900s versus the 1780s, 1790s.
Yeah.
In 1902, so this is a year after they had their crazy experience, Eleanor made a visit back by herself and had another eerie experience out there. She felt the same depression, sorrow, heaviness again, and saw two workers in old-fashioned clothing who vanished when she turned back around to see them a second time. She also felt like there were several people around her when she couldn't see anyone nearby, and she heard old, faint band, like live music playing.
Was she the one who saw Marie Antoinette, or was she the one who just felt like people were around?
She was the one who I think saw things, so it's interesting that she only but she did see the two workers and then they faded away.
Okay.
But she did feel like other people were around and couldn't see them. Then she heard this music, and she even asked the property, like, "Oh, is there a band performing somewhere?"
Yeah.
Nobody was scheduled to perform that day, and even if they were, the place where bands were held to perform was so far away you wouldn't have been able to hear it where she was standing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so not the answer.
So Eleanor did make sure to write down a few bars of the music, and then she brought it back to like Oxford University and played it for music people.
She would.
And they were like, "That's so funny. Where did you hear this from? Because this music is dated back to like the 1780s."
Stop it.
Isn't that fucking crazy?
Stop.
Another time that she went back, this is I think the last time she went back, and had a creepy experience. She felt another for the third time, a similar heaviness and sorrow. She saw two women become translucent, which is what she saw with Marie Antoinette. And she also saw the buildings around them seeming to fade away, all except for two pillars of a building. And when she looked into it, and then when she looked into it later, those pillars were the oldest structures on the property. So she probably time slipped into a place where the pillars still existed, but nothing else had been built yet.
Ew!
Isn't that wild?
But so I would never go back. I'd be like, I'm gonna get lost, stuck in one of these.
Also,
slips.
like, imagine having that gift and you're an archaeologist. You can just be like, nope, I have to go back further because it still exists. Nope, and like you could just go back to it every year and be like, oh, they're building it now.
How
cool.
how do you even do that?
I don't. Once you harness your power, she would be right. So
I'm like, how
crazy.
would you? I'm like, stop going there until you figure it out, because otherwise you're just gonna keep getting like
what if you get stuck there?
In? Yes, that's my fear.
So later in life, the women visited again, and they felt the oppressive sadness, heaviness in the air, and they just left right away. They're like, I don't want to fucking see it. So
yeah, good.
But I also wonder, like, why, if this is all true, if at least they're feeling something really eerie, do you think it's like they're primed to feel something eerie because they did the last few times? Or do you think they, for some reason, are like tapped into something where like they feel it every time? Because nobody else seems to be having these experiences.
Yeah, I feel like the follow-up visits almost make me question it more, because it's like, wait, like if it's one thing, I feel like if it happens and then you go back and everything's back to normal and you're like, I swear there was a bridge, and you find the bridge. But like to go back multiple times and keep slipping in time is like, I mean, listen, not that I know, and I know lightning strikes twice sometimes, but it's just a strange thing. Maybe one of them, like maybe the one who kept coming back, like does have some weird history with the place or time or ability, and maybe like because the other one was with her, they both got kind of sucked into this. I don't know.
I agree.
Weird.
I feel like one of the most difficult things about paranormal experiences is that they can't be replicated. And
exactly.
If you're really able to replicate this, why don't you bring out researchers and have them watch what happens to you in real time, you know?
Right.
Like a lot of experimenting could have been done if this really is something you can harness.
But maybe she just didn't.
If she went like 15 times and this only happened 3, then maybe, but it sounds like every time she went there was an experience. So I'm like, that's interesting.
That's question. Yeah, that sounds fishy to me. Or at least like a little muddying the water, you know.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
So after all that they experienced, actually we're kind of about to talk about it. After all that they experienced, after all of their personal research, they turned they turned to others for help in figuring out what happened to them. And the first thing they did was take all of their evidence, all of their maps, all their portraits, their personal diaries, and they went to the SPR, the Society of Psychical Research.
Aha, our favorite.
Who immediately pretty much said, despite your reputation in high academia and your ability to research, this doesn't stick. There's just, all we have to go off of basically is like this story you could have conjured up. And there's nothing.
And like you have pictures of the plow, but like whatever, you could have found the pictures of the plow. Like,
and then said you saw a plow.
Right.
Yeah. So they said, unfortunately, there's not a lot of credibility here. So there's nothing we can do.
Lame.
The pretty much right after this, they were like, they felt super dismissed, and like two powerful women, they were like, we'll just do it ourselves. So they decided that they were going to build their own case. They were going to find every inch of evidence they possibly could, and they wrote a book. And the book was called An Adventure, and it came out in 1911.
Wow. An adventure. Certainly.
And the book included all the maps that they'd found, timelines of what had happened to them, any evidence they had, they put it in there. Afraid that others would critique them, though, they decided to use fake names because they still had their careers to worry about. They didn't want to be like laughed out of their jobs.
Yeah, and also like their livelihood to not be institutionalized or something.
Yeah.
Or like,
Great, exactly. So they used pseudonyms. They used the names Elizabeth Morrison and Frances Lamont.
Ooh.
I know. I wish I knew what my name would be if I had to have a fake name.
I know. I was like, what would my name be? It's hard to say. I feel like I would be Eleanor somebody. Like I would take her name.
I feel like my name would be like Felix or something crazy.
I'd be like Eleanor Rigby. I would be like, stop it.
My name would have to have an X or a Z or some like unusual.
You would
Just for the
draw
fun
attention.
of it. One of the only reason I like my last name is
about
because there's a Z
Axel?
in it.
Oh,
Axel's
that's
cool.
true. What about Axel?
I like Axel. I do. My stepdad, he told me that I have a stepbrother named Brendan, and apparently I was like, oh, if you weren't gonna name him Brendan, what were you gonna name him? And my stepdad had the fucking audacity to say Quillerin,
No.
and I was like, what? Which like Quillerin or
Quillerin.
Quillerin, I
Okay.
think. Actually, Eva would know this because, and he did not know Eva's relationship to this at all. But my stepdad was like, "Oh yeah, from the Cat Who series," which like Eva loves the Cat Who series.
What's the Cat Who series?
Remember-
Oh,
She did a whole
those
podcast
books?
about the Cat Who series.
Right, the
Paranormal
like mystery
Captivity.
book, the
Yeah.
cozy mystery. Oh, okay. Wait, Tom read that book?
Apparently,
read those books?
he loves the series as much as Eva, and then almost named his
my
son
God, my
after them.
Brain is like breaking trying to process this.
Fun fact, everybody, when Eva first, I think, interviewed with us, or one of her first days working for us, she brought us both books from the Cat Who series that she thought both of us would like.
I don't remember mine.
Oh, mine was The Cat Who Talks to Ghosts, I think.
Oh, cute. I don't remember mine. I'm sure it's here somewhere since I don't get rid of anything.
But
I'll find it. I'll find it eventually.
if you find a Cat Who book, it's from Eva when she first started working with us.
Good to know, actually. Yeah.
But no, the only other person I've ever heard talk about the Cat Who
That's
series
so
was Eva.
random.
And then Tom was like, oh yeah, we almost named Brendan after the Cat Who series. I was like,
That's
what?
a wild coincidence. Yeah, that's very strange.
I could see Quillerin being a name I go with if
Yeah.
I'm going for like a sneaky name.
Yeah, Quillerin is pretty. I do like Felix too. I feel like that kind of is like playful and like has the X factor, if you will.
I would go with a name that like feels like a character on Pink Panther or something.
Totally. Quillerin Felix the Third.
It's
I
exactly
don't even
right.
know what word you kept saying.
Me either. Anyway, those are their pseudonyms that they used in their book, Elizabeth Morrison and Frances Lamont. And their true identities were only revealed in later editions. I think like 5 different editions of this book came out.
Oh, wow.
So only the later ones did their actual names get used in the book. And this was also in like the 1930s after at least one of them had died. So their reputations, it didn't totally matter anymore the way that it did originally. The book was a massive hit. It became a movie in the 1980s. I wanted to watch it. It looks like it was like a Hallmark made for TV movie.
Oh my God.
Looks very
like
hokey.
So cheesy. Oh.
The movie is called Miss Morrison's Ghosts.
Okay.
And it looks not good. So I can't wait to watch it. It's like a campy situation.
That feels like a fun like sleepover drinking game movie.
If anyone needs something kind of cheesy to watch, go watch Miss Morrison's Ghosts.
Yeah.
It's on YouTube. And from the book came the movie. From the movie came a BBC radio play. And then again, the book.
So like a podcast.
And the book was republished multiple times, but with different names. So another version of the same book is The Ghosts of Trianon, The Complete and Adventure. And then despite the craze of the book, many skeptics were quick to tear the story apart. A lot of the common theories were that they stumbled upon a reenactment or a movie set, although none were scheduled.
1901. Okay.
I know. No filming was scheduled, and that wouldn't explain the property-wide structural changes like houses missing, or like the woods being differently shaped than they should be.
It doesn't make sense, no.
Another theory is that they stumbled upon a private party, which at the time there actually was a famous French artist who lived nearby, and he did host theme parties at Versailles. So they were like
Kim Kardashian,
and his name was Kanye West. So they were like, maybe he was throwing a party and people were in costume, and you stumbled upon that. But they were like, there was no party. We were on a tour. Like that's not true.
Yeah, I feel like we're missing a big part of like the point here, which is that anyway.
Another theory is that their memories influenced each other's recollection, which I could see that happening.
Yeah, I guess.
Basically that they both talked, or an example is that they both talked about a woman in the garden, even though only one actually saw her, and then the other one just kind of went with it. A lot of the individual stories don't overlap. It's as if they each had half of the story and then kind of clumped them together and just believed each other. Basically, their stories don't line up.
Okay.
So a lot of people are like, "Oh, you just are letting each other inform the other's memory of what happened."
I mean, I think you made a good point. Like they're perceiving it differently. Whatever.
Another theory is that they were under a trance or some sort of shared hallucination due to the heat that day, but it was not that hot. But okay. Um,
Okay.
Another is that they were victims of a prank or that they are pranking us. Another theory is that they were just simply misinterpreting normal events because they got lost and didn't know where they were. Um, and so they were, and on top of that, that they were just finding pretty much pictures and evidence through maps and everything that they were probably ignoring other facts while just looking for facts that justified
Like
their
confirmation bias, like
yes.
trying to like bolster their. Okay. I mean, yeah, like I guess if like, whatever. I think that's just silly, but whatever.
I agree, but
It just takes so much out of it. Like it just takes so much. Like you have to. It just doesn't explain like 80% of the story. You know.
well, the SPR actually made a good. I think it was the SPR. They made a good point saying that they think that most of this is just both of them influencing each other's memory of things because remember there was never an immediate written account about this. They only both talked about it once like maybe 3 months had passed.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
And on top of it, the fact that they wrote 5 editions of this book and like in each book there was more or less added or removed of their experiences makes it kind of shady because people are like,
Yeah.
well, why did you not mention that in this book? Or why did you add this thing that's like really spooky, but you didn't put it in the first book?
Yeah, that's a little bit fishy.
And by the time all the editions had come out, it was like years and years and years later. So like, are you only remembering something now or are you bringing this up to like give this one flair? Also in their book, this is not a good look. They wrote a whole fake chapter
Eh?
in the perspective of Marie Antoinette seeing them in the
Oh,
time slip.
my goodness. Okay, that's a little creative liberty here. Yeah.
And which, I mean, we both know if we went through a time slip and we saw someone who seemed to look right at us, we would talk
Yeah.
about it forever. Like, what do you think they experienced?
Yeah, and I feel like I can understand the desire to like get creative with it, but I feel like to put it in your book as that you're saying is like factually what happened is a little
Mhm.
bit like, okay, that's confusing.
It's like a whole chapter of this is obviously actually admittedly fiction. So, like, where does that put the
Yes.
rest of this, you know?
It's a little weird. It's like, so how are we gonna yeah, I agree. I totally agree.
Which, like, as someone who loves a time slip, if I read that chapter, I would probably be like, that's my favorite chapter of the whole book. I'm so glad you added it. But I would be like, but now I can't trust any of this.
Yes,
So it just brings doubt onto the rest of the
I
book.
agree.
And then the last theory, which is the least likely, I think, it's certainly the most ridiculous, but it's also the most grabby of the theories, is a homosexual folie à deux.
Oh, a homosexual, you say?
AKA a shared delusion because they were, quote, so distracted by their relationship that they misinterpreted ordinary people and events around them. Like they were so goo goo gaga in love that they don't even really totally remember the day and they just kind of patchworked it together and it ended up sounding spookier than it was. This was implied that they were in a relationship by many sources, but it seems, based on what I have found, it looks like most of that rumor came from one former student who did not like them and was trying to make them look really bad.
Great.
And tried to just say, well, they were gay as a way to like discredit them. And they were
Right.
both single women without children. And they were kind of, well, one was middle aged, one was older, but maybe they just had like an age gap relationship.
So they're spinsters already.
And they were traveling to France together. Like you could easily romanticize that.
Yep.
But all of
it is romantic, whether they like it or not, you know?
They held each other when they saw a kiosk. I don't know.
A kiosk, no.
But we don't actually know if they were queer. I mean, as a queer, I certainly hope they were just for the fun of it.
I mean, who isn't at this point, but whatever.
But there's really no evidence outside of like what this one person with a hatred for them stating it. So and that because it's again, the punchiest of the theories. People often say like, oh, this is like a shared delusion between lesbians, which is crazy.
That's a wild thing to say. Like, that's like saying, oh, anyone on a first date who's in love and having an affair or like a love affair, like they can't
I know.
understand the world around. It's just so bizarre. Like, what? Okay, whatever.
I have been goo goo gaga enough in an early part of a queer relationship where like I could have walked into a time slip and I wouldn't have even fucking noticed like that. So if anything,
Sure,
it goes
okay.
against the theory.
Fair.
So it's said that outside of this experience, regardless of whatever the theories are, outside of this experience, both women had separate paranormal encounters throughout their lives, both before and after this
Interesting.
situation. So I guess that helps them look more legit, that like this wasn't a fluke, like we've already had weird shit happen in our lives, like this one was just when we were together in the same room. Although personally I don't know about Eleanor's encounters, like her paranormal encounters. It sounds like she was dealing with some mental health situations. Like there were stories of like, oh, she saw a ghost dancing in the hall and then she saw this and then she saw this, and same for Charlotte was also seeing things or hearing things, but the stories I saw about Eleanor's for some reason cross into like feeling a
A
little
little absurd.
Maybe
Far-fetched?
just like maybe like let's just put it this way, she thought that there were spies hiding in the school trying to get her.
Oh, okay. So like paranoia, basically.
Paranoia. She was having visions that
Okay.
led to erratic behavior.
So like hallucinations, that kind of thing.
Like it didn't feel paranormal. It felt more like a psychological situation.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Charlotte's stories felt more spooky, paranormal, out of her control or out of her realm.
Right.
One just felt spiritually creepy and one of them felt psychologically like maybe she needed some
Yeah.
guidance. But then again, like where is the line on that? We could talk about that forever.
Yeah, and who knows, like back then everybody was so into like the spiritual stuff. There's like all the knocking and people believed stuff like that. So like maybe it was just like, oh, she's confabulating it to make it sound like more dramatic for people who, I don't know. I don't know.
And also, unfortunately, like as much as I want to believe in like a time slip and hauntings and stuff like that, her maybe having some psychological stuff to work through does hurt the validity of this whole incident.
Yeah.
Because she was the one who, remember, was seeing things and Charlotte was just
I
feeling
see.
things, which you and I could go to a history place and feel like, oh, this one feels a little spooky, like,
Yeah.
oh, this
Yeah.
200-year-old thing does feel haunted to me, ha ha ha, and then not see
Especially if
anything.
you're alone in the woods. Yeah, like in a kind of
And
old historic place. Yeah.
yeah, and Eleanor seems to have only seen things, which maybe she really was, but maybe she wasn't. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay.
So Eleanor was, I think this was Eleanor. I hope I didn't mix them up. I think Eleanor was the one who was originally principal of the school. Whoever was the first principal of the school, she ended up dying. Actually, drama. She died mid-scandal at the school right before she was going to be told to quit, and then she literally
What?
died. It was so
What
dramatic.
happened?
She seemed to have like real beef with another teacher, and I think she fired the teacher for like not really legitimate reasons, and then the rest of the staff and like defiance all threatened to also leave.
Oh shoot.
It became a whole mess. So she ended up literally dying instead of quitting. And then Charlotte or Eleanor, whoever was originally the vice principal, she ended up taking over.
Okay.
So when people say like, oh, well, whatever the theories of what happened, whichever really happened, at least they were credible because of their reputations at school. It sounds like a lot of people kind of hated them. So I don't really know if maybe they
Yeah,
were,
it sounds like they're causing problems.
maybe
Yeah.
they were smart academics, but like just not liked.
Like socially as popular. Yeah.
Fun fact, which only adds to the gay factor, they are now buried near each other in the same cemetery. And their research and evidence, by the way, after this whole incident, is still at Oxford University in one of their libraries.
No way. So okay, that counts for something.
And those who believe that the incident was real say it was most likely either a time slip, a haunting, or retrocognition, which is being transported into someone's memories. Super cool.
Okay, well, that's what one of them thought, right?
Hmm.
Okay.
And to this day, the property is still allegedly haunted, which I'm sure I could do a whole episode on Versailles.
Yeah.
But this area specifically is that people say that they get weird chills, they see apparitions in old-fashioned clothing, there's weird shifts in energy, that there's time loss, and then all of a sudden you pop up in a new area with no recollection.
Ooh.
And like mentioned earlier, every August people claim to see Marie Antoinette out there on the anniversary
That's
that she
so
was imprisoned.
creepy.
I don't know how much of that or those haunting rumors are informed by this incident.
Right.
I don't know, chicken or the egg situation, but anyway, that is the Moberly Jourdain incident, aka the Versailles Time Slip.
Dang, dude, that was
Sorry that was so long.
no, it's just bonkers. Like, it would be so cool to experience something like that, and also so mind fucking. Like, you would be so that like
For the rest of my life, I would question my own
for the
sanity.
rest of your life, you would question reality and everything. Oh my god.
Like you'd have the best icebreaker story, but you'd be like, I don't even know if I should say it, you know?
I was gonna say, but you probably wouldn't feel comfortable telling anyone at the same time.
You'd have
which
to
sucks.
really get to know somebody, or like on a like
Yep.
at one of those parties where like you're sitting in a corner together, super fucked up, and like you just get
You're-
weirdly deep for no reason, and you never see
You're
each
just
other
both
again.
like, yep, in the same kind of headspace, just dropping truth bombs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. That's
Anyway,
something.
I saw Time Slip.
Good
I was
job.
very excited to tell you that one.
I love a time slip, as you know. That was lovely, Em. Good job.
Thank you. Now that I have been home for a while Christine handles the road, I have been going to all my doctors, giving them a wave, and fondly reminiscing on the fact that I found them through Zocdoc.
Yeah, we've loved Zocdoc for years. It's just one of those things that I have found indispensable. I don't think I would be really quite as healthy or alive without it. Not to be dramatic, but they've helped me connect with dermatologists, with GI doctors, with therapists, with psychiatry. I mean, really everything across the board. Zocdoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors and click to instantly book an appointment.
With Zocdoc, you can book in-network appointments with more than 100,000 doctors. Every time I see that number, it blows my mind. 100,000 doctors across every specialty, from mental health to dental health, primary care to urgent care, and more. My primary doctor, I found him through Zocdoc, and through the butterfly effect, he led me to my cardiologist, all sorts of people. My psychiatrist is through Zocdoc, who was also recommended by Christine, by the way.
Yes, and appointments made through Zocdoc, which we've also talked about a lot, happen fast, typically within just 24 to 72 hours. As in, like, we got anxiety diagnoses within just 48 hours for both of us, I think. Stop putting off those doctor appointments and go to Zocdoc.com/drink to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today.
That's ZocDoc.com/drink. Zocdoc.com/drink. Sometimes life can get a little crazy. I don't think I've experienced a moment of life not being crazy lately. So one thing that can help you if your life's a little crazy to unwind is Cornbread Hemp CBD gummies.
Oh, they're a game changer. I keep them in a little rolly cart. I keep one in my bathroom and one in case I'm brushing my teeth and I realize, I haven't taken my CBD gummy yet, and I keep them in my nightstand just in case. I love Cornbread Hemp CBD. They are made to help you feel better, whether it's stress, discomfort, needing a little relaxation, all of the above. And they're formulated to help relieve discomfort, stress, and sleeplessness.
Yeah, they only use the best part of the hemp plant, the flower, for the purest and most potent CBD. So regardless of what's going on in your life, Cornbread Hemp CBD gummies are just a little dash of help.
Right now, and that's why your drink listeners can save 30% on their first order. Just head to cornbreadhemp.com/drink and use code DRINK at checkout.
That's cornbreadhemp.com/drink and use code DRINK. Can I... After that lovely ad break everyone just got, and before you tell your story, can I tell you I remember the reason why I drank?
Yeah.
I in the middle of the night decided to tear all the wallpaper off the walls.
No, you are like me. Don't ever fucking pretend like you're not exactly like me ever again.
And
show me. Where is it?
It's facing that way. You would be able to see it.
Okay, send me pictures later.
And the plan was like, I'm going to surprise Allison. And now I'm like, oh, fuck. Now I gave myself like a whole task.
What do you mean? It'll surprise her when she comes home and there's wallpaper on the walls. It's a great surprise.
Well, I was like, man, like the house still, like we haven't touched it at all. And then it wasn't really an excuse. It was legitimate.
Well, you
but
have.
the whole time I've been saying like I want I don't want the walls to be like white. Like I want them to be painted and have these hanging on the walls and have all this decoration. I was like, I haven't done anything, and I've been like in this house alone for like 5 months. I should like do something. And I saw there's this wallpaper in the hallway that I just fucking hated, and I was like, I'm just taking
well,
it down.
I mean, it sounded like it had to go. I'm on your side with this. Sorry.
Thank you. Well, Allison, the good part is that Allison and I had already decided it would be changed, so it's not like I'm tearing something down that she liked. Like it was
something that she felt. Yeah.
It was understood that it's going to change. So if she doesn't like what I do with it, we can just change it again. But
do you know what you're going to do with it?
No, I just tore it down. I was like, I'll figure it out later. And now I'm like, oh fuck, I got to figure something out.
You will figure it out. My mom still has their kitchen half torn, the walls just like half torn plaster coming down, and they just left it like that, and it's been 10 years. So, and it was like a drunken thing one night where they're like, that's how they did their floors. If the floors finally got done, but yeah. So I have faith that you'll do it sooner than my mother ever will, which is probably
thank
never.
you. It'll certainly be a 3 a.m. decision. I don't think an idea is coming when I'm like really awake and solid.
It's gotta you've got to just kind of let it come to you, right? Exactly. You can't force it.
It's cooking. It's cooking. But anyway, I remember when I was
beautiful.
tearing the wallpaper off, I was like, this is a good reason to drink, and then I just never mentioned it. So.
It's a good reason, yeah, that you did to yourself, which is my favorite kind of reason.
If it hadn't been the middle of the night, I might have had some reason to me and I wouldn't have done it. But sometimes the best things happen when you just kind of have to give yourself forgiveness.
It's the best and the worst things happen when you really want to kind of kick yourself in the head afterward. That's so nice.
Anyway.
Wow.
So, sorry, Allison. Hope you like it.
What if she hears this before she gets home and is like, what did you do?
That's a great... Oh, fuck. Well, whatever. Whatever.
I mean, it's still a while. We're pretty far in advance, I feel.
When it comes out, when?
Sometime in September. I don't know. A couple weeks?
Hopefully she's not listening. Allison, if you're listening, pretend you don't know what's going on and act surprised when you get home. And be happy also.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and also stop complaining.
What's your problem? I'm just...
Also, isn't it beautiful in your hallway right now?
Yeah, just a lot of oohs and ahs take you a long way, Allison, I'll tell you.
That's about all we need. Oh, boy. Okay. Well, I have a story for you. This is one that I've wanted to cover since oh my God, like first year of our podcast, maybe second year.
Okay.
It may be not that old, but it's a story that Dateline did a podcast series on called The Thing About Pam. And I remember listening to it so vividly that I remember being at Ross for Less and wandering through the aisles and just hearing Keith Morrison and being so like transfixed by this story. I binged the entire thing in like a day, maybe 2 days. I don't know. But I remember that so vividly. And then years later, it like turned into a series and then like a mini series on TV, this whole thing. But all that to say, I've been wanting to cover this for so long. And finally, here we are. This is the case of Betsy Faria. And I'm guessing you don't know about this.
You said it's a documentary title? Because I feel like that title sounds familiar, but I don't know what it is. Also,
it was a Dateline multi-episode series, and then it became a mini-series, like a dramatized mini-series with Renee Zellweger.
Nope, don't know about it. I do know, though, that I have a strong opinion already about something you've done.
Something I've done.
Do you really call it Ross for Less?
That was kind of a joke.
Okay,
like,
thank God.
It's Ross, but I was at a Ross for Less. It just sounds funnier.
I mean, it was. I was like, oh boy. I was like, that's...
Oh, no. It's
new.
like if I was saying like the Kroger Marketplace, I'm just fucking around.
Like when I call Michael's Michelle's. Like, I understand.
Yeah, exactly.
I understand.
Yeah. It's just like a little fun twist on the norm.
After the goddamn jig and gig, I never know what's real anymore.
It's worth asking because people probably were going to message me about it. So thank you for clarifying that.
Or like the beef thing. Now I'm lost. I'll never know if it's beef or beef. I'll never know.
It's both.
Well, it's okay. Anyway, I felt it was going to sit with me if I didn't ask.
I appreciate it. Okay, this is one of the craziest stories of my life, of your life, of any life. It is just so batshit.
I'm excited.
I cannot believe it's taken me this long to get here, but here we go. So, we're back in the late 1990s. Betsy Faria, she lived in Troy, Missouri, nearby her mother and her 2 daughters from a former marriage. She worked a day job in insurance, but was a DJ, a part-time DJ on the side.
Hey, girl.
I know. And she was a very like fun, bubbly, lively person. The DJing was sort of like her passion project, you know?
Love
Kind of
that.
like Zach Bagans.
No,
Like-
his
like
is
a
just
side
like
hustle.
weird piano banging.
Yeah, his is more just like kind of a one-man show about himself. So I wouldn't say that's necessarily DJing, but she was a disc jockey in the realest sense, I guess. And she like loved to get people, you know, dancing, and she was just a very fun person. And she met her husband, Russ Faria, around this time, and he loved this about her. He loved how outgoing they were, and they got married in 2000. And Russ ended up becoming the father to Mariah and Leah, who had come from a previous marriage, and they considered Russ their father. So Mariah was only 3 when her mom met Russ, so she didn't know a time before he was her dad. Basically, like that's kind of how the family unit was built.
Cool.
So at the start of I hate to do this to you. I just heard rolling thunder come through. I'm
You
so
evil,
sorry.
evil woman.
I'm telling you, I didn't do it on purpose. Maybe subconsciously, but not intentional. But yeah, it is coming in hot.
Jealous of you.
Man, I can. You know what I'll do? There's one singular, for some fucking reason. I mean, I'm not complaining, but one sunroof, or what is that called? Skylight. A skylight. It's a wild word. Skylight.
The sunroof is just a skylight in a car.
That's right. Okay, so the skylight up in the ceiling, it's a good idea in theory because it's like, I live in like kind of a townhouse, so it's like tight up with other houses. So it's like, oh, it's a way to get light in when there are no windows on the wall. But also when it rains, it's so fucking loud because it's just a giant pane of glass. And I don't think anyone thought it through.
No,
so
they
like,
did.
They did? Okay.
For the ASMR, for the vibes.
It actually is like really nice. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not complaining.
Especially like the optics of it all, like when it's dark and then like even the roof is like kind of stormy, gloomy.
Yeah,
oh,
it actually
I'm
really.
So jealous.
The problem is that one of the cats peed right under there somewhere, and I cannot for the life of me find it because I keep swiffering the same hardwood floors, and I'm like, it's somewhere in either. So I can sort of faintly smell cat piss, which doesn't really help. But if I put the laptop and just like open the screen, you won't. There's no smell-o-vision here. You can just watch. Everyone can just stream the. Wow, it's really getting going out there.
I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous.
Sorry, I swear. I was gonna say, don't worry, it's 90 degrees here and all sunny, and now, well, okay.
I'm telling you, it's the one thing that might get me to ever move back to the East Coast is rain.
I mean, I get it. It really does affect my mood greatly. Like, I get just calmer instantly. It's like the cortisol just drops, you know? Okay, anyway, I'm so sorry. Mariah was only 3, and so she had always known Russ as her dad. And at the start of the marriage, Russ and Betsy were a good team. Betsy was very encouraging and, you know, encouraged him to go back to school for computer science and get a good degree. So he ended up getting a pretty good job, and they were able to move into a new house together with their 2 daughters. But as time went on, Russ and Betsy had a few issues in their marriage. They started arguing more and questioning whether it was worth sticking with each other long term. And it almost seemed like divorce was inevitable, but they kind of, in one last-ditch effort, decided to go to a pastor. I mean, you know, not my... I guess last-ditch effort, maybe.
Certainly a last-ditch effort, yeah.
Certainly last, not first. But yeah, they went to a church, a new church together, and they received counseling from a pastor. And I guess this really did the trick. They really, like, bonded. They now had, like, a group of new friends, and they just started to work things out. Betsy actually told her friend Rita that she was falling in love with Russ all over again.
Oh, okay.
Which I find like really charming, you know?
Hey God.
Yeah. Hey God, sexy.
I guess you're doing something, a work within them, if you will.
It's some Cupid nonsense. So life was good, but then in early 2010, they faced a new challenge when Betsy was diagnosed with breast cancer. It came seemingly out of the blue. She was given this aggressive treatment regimen, which was obviously very physically and emotionally exhausting for her and for her family. But Betsy and Russ had a big support system, and so there were a lot of people who loved them and stepped up with the girls and stepped up with food and driving her to appointments and things like that. And the chemo that she received was near her mom's house. So she was often going to go to the hospital and then to her mom's. And that way, you know, she wouldn't be around the kids who are going to school and maybe have germs and that kind of thing, and just be able to be at her mom's close by and rest before and after her chemo appointments. So sometimes friends and family would drive her to and from appointments. One of these friends was Pam Hup. She was Betsy's coworker, and she really stepped up for Betsy at this time. She was driving her to appointments regularly. She was coming by and spending time with her whenever she could, and bringing blankets and bringing, supplies. People in Betsy's life described Pam as an extremely kind person. They said, Betsy is so lucky to have such a doting friend who's always checking up. I mean, I think we can all see that this is becoming red flags. The podcast is called The Thing About Pam. It's kind of hard to hide.
Had you not told me the title, so far I'd be like on board with Pam, but now I'm like, love bombing Pam. Got it.
I gotta say, the love bombing is really intense. And then, we'll get into it. She's got some problems. So, and like Renee Zellweger portrays her, I believe there were some issues, there was some discourse around that series because I believe Renee Zellweger wore like a, for lack of a better term, fat suit is what everyone kept calling it, like to look more,
to be bigger, yeah.
I don't know, stockier, yeah. To look more like Pam. And I feel like people, if I remember correctly, that was kind of not cool, right? Like people were not happy about that.
The controversy being you could just hire a bigger person.
Right, exactly. Like it just feels unnecessary and also like, just kind of, it's just icky, yeah. And so anyway, we'll get into that because I do have other commentary on that as well. But basically what I was going to say is in that series, which is very riveting. Like, I mean, Dateline puts on a good show, whether it's like, good for the world or not. I don't, not entirely sure, but
sure.
Keith Morrison knows how to get that itch in my brain
Certainly.
Scratched, I guess.
Yep.
And they, from the jump, you're like, oh, Pam is trouble. Like from the moment the show starts, you're like,
so they are not even trying to
basically no.
They're not even trying to give you like a warm into it and then plot twist. It's just something's
not
up.
even a little bit.
Okay.
Like immediately they're like, here's the thing about Pam. And then Pam's just like fucking on the scene, right? Like it just is like, okay, she's trouble, clearly. So I want to just get that out of the way up front. But so everyone's like, wow, she's just so caring and doting and she's always like wondering about you. I mean, I hadn't even thought of it as love bombing, but like, yes, that is the exact situation. Betsy's cancer briefly went into remission, but then she received the devastating news that it had metastasized and spread to other parts of her body. And her doctor estimated that she would only live for another 3 to 5 years, which, it's something unimaginable to me. In autumn 2011, Russ and Betsy went on a cruise to celebrate Betsy's life. I mean, can you imagine like knowing you're nearing the end and being like, let's go on a cruise to celebrate? I mean, it just sounds so
grim.
It's just hard. It's grim, yeah. In just the saddest way. So they went on a cruise because Betsy's lifelong dream was swimming with dolphins. And so they went on this cruise to celebrate her life. She got to swim with dolphins, which was good because only a couple months later in December, she was coming home from a chemotherapy appointment. This was a little bit after Christmas, December 27th of 2011. And she spent the day at her mom's house before and after the appointment. And meanwhile, Russ spent the day working from home and then headed to a friend's house for their weekly game night where they were playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Love it.
Yeah. So Betsy had arranged a ride home with one of her mom's friends. So Russ was like, great. He and his friends are going to go have a beer, smoke pot, play Dungeons and Dragons, like live their best lives. And he'll see his wife later. He doesn't need to like go pick her up or anything like that. So he's just like has a night with the boys. The boys? The boys, the boys, the wizards, the orcs, the whatevers. So Russ enjoyed a worry-free evening, but at roughly 9:40 p.m. that night, a 911 call came in from Russ and Betsy's home. It was Russ. He was screaming hysterically, and he told the 911 operator that he had just found his wife on the floor and that she had killed herself. So, if you hear the 911 call, it's disturbing. They always are, but I will spare you if you don't want to hear it. Basically, it's just Russ screaming. He's sobbing. The operator is trying to get him to take deep breaths. They ask him if Betsy's still breathing. He says she's dead. The police arrive quickly. Russ leads them to the living room where Betsy is on the floor, covered in blood. When they took a closer look, it appeared that she had cut her wrists and died of blood loss. And so now they're thinking like, okay, this could be a suicide. and then they noticed the knife sticking out of her neck. And
Okay.
yeah, they sent Russ out of the house and said, we're pretty sure this is a homicide. So Russ went to the sheriff's department for questioning, of course.
Sure. Yeah.
Check the husband.
As it is.
Yeah. Wrapped in a blanket, he was basically shaking and sobbing uncontrollably. He was like, I'm sure it's the adrenaline too,
Yeah.
when you shake after like something like this. Obviously, I don't know, but like a shock to your system. He did his best to answer the officers' questions, and then when they would leave, he would just sob. And when the police asked Russ if he thought Betsy was capable of harming herself, he did say he didn't think so, but she had talked about suicidal ideation in the past, and so he was like, it's not unheard of, right? And the cancer was only exacerbating her mental health concerns, and so he said it's not impossible, right? I mean, especially after seeing what he just saw. And so when gathering evidence, police are looking at this with a grain of salt. They're thinking like, okay, he's somehow convinced this is a suicide, but now that we have this knife in her neck. Then they find blood on the light switch in Russ and Betsy's bedroom, and inside the bedroom closet, they find a pair of slippers covered in blood, and these are Russ's slippers. So they become certain that Betsy had not died by suicide, but that she had been attacked and killed.
Well, I mean, it feels like, I ain't Olivia Benson, but I feel like a knife just hanging out of the neck when that could have easily been pulled away, or like, it doesn't seem like whoever did this wasn't trying to hide it. Like, it feels kind of like messy and impulsive or something.
I agree.
It doesn't feel like this could have been, quote, done smoother or better if you wanted to get away with it,
I fully agree, and I'm going to give you more details in just a second that I feel like will add to that, will corroborate that, because they're looking at this now as more of an attack. And when they get the autopsy report the following day from the medical examiner confirms their suspicions and says, of course, these cuts to her wrists are obvious, but under her clothes, I guess, or not even under, but under the clothes were all these stab wounds. So she had actually been brutally attacked. She had been stabbed more than 50 times. And then whoever did this just stuck the knife in her neck and left. I mean, it's disturbing.
Sick.
Like, talk about grim. Like, it's just really disturbing. So, ooh, God, it's horrible. A lot of the wounds were inflicted post-mortem, which was also interesting. Like a strange
like
kind
personal.
of... yes, yeah, very personal for sure. And so you can see why they're immediately thinking Russ, Like, it does make sense. And, like, of course, you'd look at the husband. Always look at the husband. Whew, okay, so... basically, they determined, she had been brutally attacked. Her murderer had continued to attack her after she stopped breathing. That's how much utter rage was behind this attack. And so detectives began questioning people who knew the couple. And at first, everyone's saying Russ and Betsy were deeply in love. Russ told the detectives they had gone through a rough patch in their marriage and had been briefly separated. And I will get into that a little bit later. But he said they'd worked through it. That was that whole thing with, going to the new church together. And their relationship was strong and loving, and he was just, that's all he had to say. He didn't have anything more to say than, I didn't do it, and I love my wife. But detectives were not so sure, so they decided to speak to the last person to have seen Betsy alive, and that happened to be a woman named Pam Hup.
P-A-M, yep.
P-A-M. P-A-M. P-A, whatever.
You're good. It's 3 letters, but...
Thank you. They asked Pam if she was close to Betsy, and interestingly, Pam's response was, she has more than one best friend.
Okay.
That's a weird thing to say. And it was true that Betsy was like a well-loved person. She had multiple friends and a lot of family, but she and Pam had been coworkers for roughly a decade and had spent almost every day together, right? Like, since she got sick. And so it's weird that she wouldn't have just said, we're very close. Like, this is heartbreaking for me, or anything. But she said, nope, she has other friends too. And they're like, okay. And so they're talking to her and she says, although most people think Betsy and Russ are happy, I know the real truth because Betsy tells me all about it. And they actually fight all the time. And she's actually really scared of her husband. And of course, speaking of confirmation bias, now they're thinking, ding, ding, ding. Perfect. Domestic violence. Like, this is an abusive marriage. And this guy clearly just had a vendetta, had some crime of passion, and that's what happened. So they said, speak on that, please. And she said, well, Russ often insults Betsy. He brags to her about how much money he would get from her life insurance if she died.
What?
Yeah. Pam said Russ was extremely disrespectful to her. He would smoke in the house, even though she was sick, like with cancer. And they're just like horrified.
No, he didn't.
He didn't. He literally didn't.
Don't make me defend a man, Pam, please.
I know. It's like infuriating. It's like, seriously, Pam.
I don't want to be here. Please don't do this to me.
God damn it. It's so infuriating. So Pam told the detectives that Betsy was so terrified of Russ that she was secretly planning to divorce him. And so now they're building this motive, right? She said Betsy once told her that she woke up to Russ pressing a pillow against her face and saying, this is what it feels like to die.
What evil...
But what a loon to make that up and be like, oh, and the way she presented it was also so bonkers. She said, oh, did you find the email she was going to write me about the time? And they said, what do you mean the email? And she said, she was telling me something about how she was busy writing me a draft of an email and she never sent it. Spoiler alert, they later find it on a document on the computer, like a Word document that
idiot
Pam had written and uploaded.
So this alone... I don't really know what point I'm trying to make here. I just need to kind of word blurt it. Is that I feel like she has to know by saying all this stuff. Eventually, it's going to come out that she's saying this, and people who know it's not true are now going to know she's the prime suspect. Like, she's only digging her
she's
own
walking
hole.
a very thin line, right? Because it's like she's now like giving the police what they want, but then you're right. Like, the second anybody else in the circle hears, they're going to be like,
well, you're obviously the person who did this. Yeah, like, it feels...
I'm so glad you said that, because that is basically this whole story, is everybody being like, the thing about Pam is, like, they're literally trying to figure out what the fuck is going on with Pam.
The thing about Pam is that she has told you everything that you need to arrest her. Go do it. Yeah.
Yes. Like, ugh, it's
that's so insane. Because you would, again, I mean, she's already proven herself to be sloppy at this. If she's just like literally leaving the weapon at the crime scene, but to like then just start saying things that are obviously not going to be backed by anybody. Like, should you keep a low profile? You're really making things so much worse so quickly.
Here's the wildest part. Well, first of all, great point. And I think this is one of those scenarios where it's a person who cannot keep a low profile because they're so self-involved. And, like, I think she just like literally couldn't keep herself out of the spotlight. Do you know what I mean? Like, she wanted to be questioned. She wanted to be on the stand. Like, she just loved the spotlight
like
in that way that, like, well, yeah, raging narcissist. And I mean, it becomes very, very, very apparent.
Like, it's like, if this weren't such a sick, sad story, it would be laughable at how obvious this is.
Yeah, it is. Yes, exactly. It's just absurd. Like, she had her neighbor basically spy because she wasn't allowed to sit in the trial because she was a witness. And she had a neighbor go sit in there and text her the whole time, like, what was going on. I mean, she's just so, like,
out of her
self-obsessed.
Wow.
And just a sick person. So she's like, yeah, I know the real truth. It's actually that they're in this terrible marriage and she's so scared of her husband. He's so violent. And oh, sorry, were you going to say something?
Yeah, but I keep interrupting you, so I'm just trying to
Well, I couldn't tell if you were hitting a fly, like swatting a fly, or raising your hand.
I'm just saluting you.
No. Oh, that's allowed.
No, does she care that she's like, is part of the thing that like she wants people to know she did it and see how long she can get away with it? Like, is there a point to her being she's just sloppy?
Well, everyone's just eating this up, frankly.
Okay, got it. Okay, I'm just gonna, you keep going. Sorry.
No, I mean, it's a great question, because it's like, what is happening? Like, how is this happening? But
she's one of the people that like I understand why like coroners would remove their brain to study it. Like what are we doing here?
It's like, what happened? What went wrong here?
Yeah, it's moments like this where I understand why they like do things like this for science after the fact with people.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I'm curious.
I would also like to know what's too
or
big or too small.
Even the Ed Kemper, like, interviewing in prison, even though it's like kind of ethically and kind of gross and all that, but it's like, but you learn so much about
there's a morbid fascination.
How his brain works. Yeah. I mean, if you watch Mindhunter, you'll know what I mean. But okay, so they are hearing all this from Pam, and Russ denies it completely. He said even when he and Betsy had struggled in their marriage, neither of them had ever been violent with one another. That was never an issue. He said Betsy had no reason to be afraid of him. She never had been. He honestly didn't know where this was coming from.
Sure.
So like, I don't think they definitely didn't say like, oh, Pam told us, you know, they were saying like, and I think that's part of it too, is like the police are trying to build their case. So they're not going around telling everybody like, oh, Pam's in here telling this and that.
Like we're just hearing that you're a horrible husband.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And outside of the police station, she can be like, I don't know, I just told him the truth and we'll see what happens, you know, and she can kind of play that subtle game, you know, until she's called to the witness stand, so to speak, later on. So he says Betsy has no reason to be afraid of him. He eventually agrees to a polygraph test, but he's been, I think, interrogated for like, I think it was 16 hours or just like a really intense a period of time after having just discovered what we now know was like the shock of his life.
I mean, in that moment, like I would honestly probably end up in jail because it would break me. Like I don't
know how you could even answer questions at that stage.
Yeah,
right?
You're gonna say something that sounds suspicious when when your brain's fried.
And he didn't ask for a lawyer because he literally didn't think he needed one. And then, like, that became a problem because then his attorney was like, you've been talking for 2 days and you haven't asked for an attorney. He's like, I don't need one, because like I didn't do anything.
You would think the crying and hysterics and having a bunch of people at the Dungeons and Dragons game to vouch that you were there. Like, you're like, I'm golden. I don't need to say anything. Like, I
have an alibi and I'm clearly fucking freaked out, but guess what? They turn all that against him, so don't worry.
Oh my fucking God.
It's like really bananas how everything gets twisted. So he failed the polygraph test. At least that is what they told him, that he failed the polygraph test, and they told him 100%. Now later, one of the attorneys is like, you can't fail a polygraph 100%. That's not even a thing. So they don't know like how real that was, if that was just kind of bogus, because a polygraph isn't admissible as evidence in court anyway. But so they did arrest him, and with no concrete evidence that he killed Betsy, he had to be released eventually. But they were like, we've got our guy. We know it's him. Like, listen to Pam. She told us all about their horrible marriage, and she's her best friend.
That's insane.
Like, she must have some charm. She must have something, because these people always do. Even if you don't see it as an outsider, there must be something in the room where you're like, girl, oh, I believe you.
I'm telling you, like, that's like, is that not like the triple crown of like narcissism, is like having the X Factor charm, the weird confidence that you could get away with something like this, regardless of how sloppy you are, and the love bombing. Like, that's like,
the love bombing, and the frankly not caring about what anybody else. It's just like wanting to be in the middle of it, despite.
Did they not even talk
how it looks?
Did they not talk to like his pastor or church group or whatever? Because like that guy would have been able to say like, oh no, they like worked through their problems, like they're good, like nothing.
The police were they've already decided, right? So they just know that he killed her. So they're like, well, great, now we have somebody who backs it up. We have him fake crying on the 911 call. Like, what else do we need? We're good. Like, this is literally what they're thinking. They really think he did it. So they're saying, okay, well, easy peasy.
I'm sorry, but and maybe I'm just too gullible, but like, I imagine I didn't even hear the phone call. I know nothing, but I know what I would probably sound like.
A wailing scream, right?
If I saw Allison look like that, like there's no faking that cry. There's no faking that wailing. But
that's what everyone says, right? And then you hear like the actual fake ones and they're screaming and you're like, oh, well maybe you can fake it. Like you can just, you know what I mean?
I must be too gullible. I just imagine that's such a primitive guttural experience. I don't know.
I mean,
I guess someone's faked it well enough at some point. So I am obviously wrong, but in my mind, I'm like, how does someone even fake something like that?
They thought he was being over the top. They said he was just being melodramatic, fake crying.
Wow.
That was just they just went with it. So he was released because they couldn't hold him on anything, but soon afterward, detectives discovered new evidence in the Farias home. So they had sprayed throughout the house with luminol, which is a sensitive reagent that makes blood visible even after it's been cleaned up. And it was then that they discovered blood in a drawer. And this drawer is where the Farias kept towels. Now, they said there wasn't blood anywhere else, which meant that the killer didn't open multiple drawers, right? Which, I mean, is an interesting point. So, like, the killer presumably knew where the towels were, went and grabbed a drawer, opened the drawer, grabbed a towel to clean up. They had known exactly where they were. So the detectives now are believing that Russ opened the drawer to get towels and clean up after killing Betsy. He was arrested again based on that blood, that luminol evidence. And on January 4th, 2012, Russ was indicted for first-degree murder of his wife, Betsy Faria. And to answer your other question, Betsy's family is completely shocked. Like, they do not, they did not see this coming. Detectives actually had to work to convince Betsy's mom and daughters that Russ was capable of something like this. I mean, these are his daughters, right? Like, they're having to wrap their minds around this.
I totally forgot they even have kids. I totally forgot.
Yes, the two girls are trying to now understand that their dad is
maybe
responsible,
a murderer?
allegedly. Yeah, exactly. So Russ's cousin helped Russ connect with an attorney, Joel Schwartz, who believed Russ had a strong defense. And he also felt, like you said, that Russ had an ironclad alibi. He was with his friends playing Dungeons and Dragons. And apparently by the time he called 911 on December 27th and the paramedics came out, Betsy's body was already cold and stiff, which means she would have died hours. Yeah, exactly.
Did anyone take like any, I don't remember what year this was. Did someone take pictures of him being there?
So it was end of 2011.
I guess people weren't taking a lot of pictures back then.
In 2011? I feel like you would be taking pictures.
Maybe I still had a flip phone, so I wasn't taking a lot of pictures. So,
well, you also weren't a police detective.
Well, no, I meant more like, could they go to the Dungeons and Dragons group and be like, did anyone take pictures of that night to prove he's there?
I thought you were talking about the crime scene. Like, sorry, I was like, I think they took photos of the crime scene. Okay, sorry.
I meant like,
yes, we'll get to that.
Okay,
we'll get to that.
Okay,
yes, there is concrete evidence. Yes,
okay,
ironclad.
Okay,
so to speak. So first responders believed she'd been dead for several hours by the time Russ claimed to have discovered her. And during that window, Russ was at game night with his friends. Now, on the way to his friend's house, he stopped for gas, cigarettes, and dog food. He was on surveillance footage. He had receipts, literal receipts, and figurative receipts from these purchases. All of Russ's friends confirmed that he was with them the entire evening and hadn't left. They all corroborated the same story that Russ left around 9 o'clock. And then on his way home, he stopped for food at Arby's. And he almost didn't.
Okay.
But he did. And he got a receipt and it was time-stamped.
Good.
And then he got home, I think, 20 minutes later or so. So it seemed impossible that he could have murdered her. Like, the window was pretty much impossible. The defense team also questioned this supposed smoking gun of the blood in the towel drawer because they said they had photographs of this luminol evidence. And whenever the defense tried to ask for this evidence to see it themselves, the investigators would say, oh, the camera malfunctioned. But we saw the blood and the luminol.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But the camera malfunctioned, so you don't get to see.
That
like, we don't
like
have proof of it.
Bullshit. Okay.
Yes. How can you use that in a court?
I don't know.
And then they use it in court and they say, oh, there's blood all over it. I swear, I saw it.
I swear I was in a Versailles Time Slip. I don't know what else to tell you.
Oh my God, that was my fictional chapter that I made up about the blood in the drawer.
Read on, it gets better and more real.
But it's so good, fan fiction wise. Yeah. So the only way that the evidence of this blood in the drawer came to the courtroom was as a sworn testimony by detectives. And they swore.
Okay. I don't believe that. I'm sorry.
They fucking lied. Like, it's just bananas. They just fucking lied.
It really was.
Flat out lied.
Fucking. You know what I'm thinking.
The trial began November 2013. The prosecution described the blood at the scene on the light switch and Russ's slippers, said, how else could this be anyone but the husband? Deputy Mike Merkel testified that the camera used to record the blood evidence malfunctioned and the photos were unfortunately, quote, absolutely nothing, but that he had seen them and he swore there was blood in the thing lit up, the luminol lit up, and there was blood in the drawer. Pam Hup took the stand. Don't you know she loved that?
Yeah.
She
Did
took
she
the
did she hold the
stand.
microphone like you are?
Oh my God, she probably
Me, me,
brought
me,
her
me,
own
me.
fucking. Yeah, exactly. Is this thing on? She probably brought her own. She took the stand. She told her story about Russ and Betsy's like horrible marriage, that Betsy was afraid of Russ. And according to her, Betsy wanted to separate from him and
And be with
was
her? I'm sorry, is she gay?
interesting. That also comes up later.
Not to say like a lesbian folio deux, but
Oh my God, I was about to say, wait a minute, I'm seeing some patterns here, man.
this is like kind of the gayest crime I've ever heard of. I'm like, why?
Does this not remind you of the other one where you said, hang on, is there a gay thing here? When it was the, God, not Nexium, I'm sorry, the 8 passengers,
Oh,
mom.
Yeah,
the
that was
Utah
gay
mom.
as shit. Yeah.
And then like the other lady comes in and is like, we just sleep in a bed together. It's no big deal. And
yeah,
everyone's
we
like,
just kiss.
girl,
It's
what?
Not a
And
big
she's
deal.
like, and then I like beat up teenagers who say they're gay because it's so fucked up that they're gay. And it's like, girl, you need to see.
The call is coming from inside the house. Yeah.
Yeah, the call. Thank you. The call is coming from inside the house.
So Pam's gay. That's where I am currently. She's a narcissist and she's big fat gay. That's where
I
we
have
are.
no idea.
Okay. Well, that's my running theory currently.
She claims to not be gay. But,
okay. Yeah, I did too.
But we'll get to it.
Okay.
So Pam Hup, she takes a stand. She tells her story about this like violent marriage, yada yada, and she says, "Oh, well, Betsy, my BFF, was so afraid that when she died, Russ would waste all her life insurance money and give nothing to her daughters, that she asked Betsy to be the sole beneficiary of her life insurance policy." And Pam said, "I would be honored. And I promise I will make a trust in Mariah and Leah's names and they will inherit the money once you have passed."
This is psychotic.
And that happened days before Betsy was mysteriously murdered on the floor of her home.
That's something to consider.
So now they're saying this is a motive for Russ. That Russ found out she had, this abusive man found out she had given all her money away to another, like had left the money to the kids and to this other woman, and that he snapped and killed her in a fit of rage. So that's what they're presenting. And people are like, yeah, I guess that makes sense. The prosecution's arguing that meanwhile, Russ's friends were lying, like all the D&D people, and that one of them went to Arby's and like ordered food to give him an alibi. And everyone's like, wait, so now the defense attorney was like, now you're implicating all these
right.
people in the courtroom, these civilians that have nothing to do with this, that are like not on trial. But it was just so batshit. Fun fact also, which becomes clear in the series, is that the DA, who was kind of the lead of this whole thing, was also BFFs with the judge on the case.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah, and it's a small town, Troy, Missouri. It's like everyone knows everyone, and she and the judge are close. Their friends are on the same like softball team or something. She and this judge like went to high school together, and so it's like you kind of see this icky.
This should have been
like,
taken outside.
We'll just let it slide. Yeah,
in a different county or something.
It's like it almost like he didn't stand a chance here. It just everything fell into alignment in the worst way. So now they're saying, oh, well, that's a motive for Russ, not thinking like, oh, that's a fucking motive for Pam, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just people just had blinders on, they just didn't see it. So they proposed that like Russ left early, killed his wife, and then his friend like went and got Arby's. But they basically said his alibi is too good. They're like, who goes to the store on the way to their friend's house and then stops for food and then keeps all the receipts? And it's like, what the fuck? A normal person? Why are you being so weird about this? Like, after game night, you smoked some weed and now you want Arby's? It's literally the least shocking thing I've ever heard. And they're acting like, oh, he like made all this up. It just is like, how was this so convincing to a jury? I don't know. They did a number on him though.
If someone wants to not believe him, I guess they'll find a way. I don't know.
They really did, because on November 21st, after only 4 hours of deliberation, the jury returned with a guilty verdict.
No. Oh.
And the judge sentenced him to life in prison without parole.
Christine, you better fucking reverse this story. Tell
the
me
end.
You better fix it.
And Pam is a billionaire. No. Okay, so they returned a guilty verdict, which was shocking because even the defense team was like, how did that happen? Like, all we needed was reasonable doubt. And they were like, we have reasonable doubt. Like, we have an alibi.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't give any real proof. They didn't show photos. Like, there's no real evidence that he did this. No fingerprints, nothing. Like, no, there's no blood on there. By the way, there was no blood on him. Oh, guess what? The DA claimed that the reason there was no blood on him, maybe it's in these notes, but she claimed that he did it naked.
I can't even tolerate this.
At least that's what happened in the fictionalized one. I can't recall if that was real from the podcast series, but I think they tried to stick pretty close to what happened in those. Anyway, I'm not entirely sure, but basically he didn't have a drop of blood on him. So that was another thing they were up against.
But your alibi is too good. You just don't have blood on you. Who just doesn't have blood on them?
It's really bonkers. It's like that really, it's scary that things can go so wrong, I mean, we know this already, but
wild.
It's like scary to see it so plainly in front of us.
And
so
sidebar, I think you already said this. I think I might be confusing relationship dynamics. But since this is such a small town and people know him, shouldn't people like be a little more hesitant to, if they knew him so well or knew him, it's a small town and everyone knows Russ, shouldn't someone be like, this guy wouldn't do it? Like, I kind of don't believe that.
I mean, I think they are. They're like, I can't believe he would never do that. But it's like, if the police are telling you, trust me, me, we have evidence. It's like, and they're not, I mean, you're not going to know the evidence. So you just assume they have evidence. And it's like, clearly,
okay, well, Christine,
we know now they don't.
Just know if for some reason something ever happens where like you're the prime suspect in a murder and the cops are like, believe me, I promise you I'm not gonna.
Thank you. Thank you. Be like, I didn't do it. At least on purpose. I promise.
I'll write you letters from jail and I'll be like, girl, I know it wasn't you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I'll do what I can from out here, but good luck. I don't know. Thank you so much. So bonkers.
It's mind-blowing because it's like, obviously this can just happen. Like, your world turns upside down,
I've told you, it's my biggest fear that I'm just like wrongly convicted of something. I don't.
And then on top of that, your wife has been killed.
Oh my God.
Now your family thinks you did it. Like, your daughters are horrified, I mean, it's just all very...
And I must have talked about this before. I'm so sorry for not letting you just like fucking play your story.
No, go. But, no.
Like, I can't even imagine the tertiary trauma that comes from like not being able to even begin grieving your wife.
Oh yeah.
Or like beginning to grieve or process you seeing your wife dead in such a graphic way. Like,
there's been no
you can't
in
even
between
begin to do that because you're in self-preservation mode and you're already wounded or I guess like stunted in some way because you're not on your top game because your wife literally fucking died. Like there's so many layers of
and suddenly you're having to defend yourself, but you don't even like realize how you got here.
And there's no way that you're able to put all your spoons into one thing. Like everything requires top priority, and none of it's being addressed.
And you're still in shock, presumably. And then like the other notion that like now your daughters aren't speaking to you because everyone's saying, "Hey, your dad did this," and even if you don't believe me, like you can't speak to him. He's in jail. He's on trial. Like it's like all of a sudden you lose your family and on top of everything else.
And not to discount anyone else's situations, but like the way that it spread so quickly into like no one's even considering what these fucking kids are going through. Like they don't even get to grieve their mom because they have to like be shunned in town that their dad's a murderer. And now they have to come to terms with that before grieving their mom. Like
it's horrible.
Imagine just trying to plan a fucking funeral for your mom and all this is going on. And like, I mean like,
and they're teenage girls, like they're young. They're
so like imagine what they had to go through mentally through all this. I mean, just,
and so that's why I know that like the fictionalized version has definitely some detractors for good reason, but I do think they do a good job of like showing the kids and like, but on that other hand, like the family didn't get anything out of the movie, $1, not a cent. And it's like, okay, well that feels slimy and gross. So, I haven't quite put my finger on where I stand, but
the lasagna layers of trauma is just like, they're all so melted into each other. I just can't even imagine. Yeah. I can't even imagine.
Talk about butterfly effect. It's like and then, I feel like the other problem with a show like that, which, it almost like romanticizes the whole thing. Like it ties it up in a bow. And then at the end, you're like, oh, good. Everything's fine now. And then it's like, no, actually, like, the lasting impact of this, is going to be Shocking.
I promise to stop speaking now. Go ahead.
No, please don't. I'm glad you're asking questions because I feel like
Just have a lot to say.
it deserves some clarity sometimes. And it's such a doozy of a story. I mean, Dateline did like an entire podcast just about this story. It's riveting, really. So if you do want to listen to it, I would listen to that. And it of course has Keith Morrison being like, the thing about Pam.
Yeah, of course.
She, doing that like voice.
Isn't that Matthew Perry's stepdad? Keith Morrison?
Is it?
I think so. Keith Morrison.
Why does that feel true?
Because I'm not lying. Oh yeah, Matthew Perry is the stepson of Keith Morrison. Yeah.
That's wild. Okay.
I was like, how do I know that name? And I knew Dateline, but I was like, I feel like I've heard about his name more recently, and it was because when Matthew Perry died. So,
R.I.P. Yeah, sad. So, just days before she was killed, Betsy had actually made Pam the new sole beneficiary of her life insurance policy. So that did happen.
Interesting.
Now, Pam set up a conditional trust in Mariah and Leah's name so they would inherit the money once Betsy died. Of course, Pam and Betsy didn't realize it would be so soon, allegedly. And this now seemed like a motive for Russ, that he found out and he killed her in a rage. So the prosecution again said like, oh, his friends must have like covered for him and they went to Arby's and like he left early and did it naked or whatever. They found him guilty and it was over. So the trial was over. Russ went to prison for the murder of his wife while the family and friends tried to grapple with losing both parents, both people in the couple in one fell swoop. But while Russ was in prison, things in the Faria family only got more complicated because Mariah and Leah were now having more and more conflict with one Pam Hup.
She's still fucking bothering this family? Go away.
She literally, remember, made a trust for the kids?
Right.
The day the trial ended, she canceled it.
Bitch. Wow.
Bitch.
My God. Wow. I don't know why that shocks me so much.
Mariah and Leah therefore received not a single dollar of their mother's life insurance money to this day.
Evil fucking villain. That's crazy.
$100,000. And this was the reason that allegedly Pam gave was because she didn't trust her husband to give it to the daughters, right? And now Pam's like, but I'm trustworthy, so I promised I would give it to her daughters. And then all of a sudden, where's the money? Pam's like, oh, yeah, I'll work on it,
So did she really just kill this woman for $100,000 and that's it?
Yeah. I guess.
That's just
and also probably was just like over the love bombing phase,
That's sick. I mean, there was no good reason, but I'm like, every time it's a monetary value, I'm like, that's what someone equates a life to then. Huh, interesting.
I know. And I think it's also worth noting Pam had quite a bit of debt. So there was that pressure as well. She and her husband were in debt, behind on house payments, I think. However, she did use the money for a facelift. So it's like, at a certain point, I know. It's just ridiculous. So Pam's stories about Betsy's fears of her husband also became uncertain, kind of like what you said. People were like, that just doesn't sound right. Like, it doesn't feel like Betsy was scared of him. Like, it just feels so weird that this became the running theory. Now, Pam had claimed that Betsy feared Russ would be selfish with the life insurance money, and therefore she needed to protect it. And now she's taking it all for herself. And so another of Betsy's closest friends, Rita, her other best friend, she told a different story. Rita said, hey, actually, Betsy came to me first to ask if I would take over the life insurance policy. And it's not because she didn't trust Russ to do something irresponsible, sort of that, but in a different way. She basically feared Russ would be so traumatized and in grief, devastated after her death, that he would just like spend money on the kids to try to make them feel better.
Yeah,
like that was where
what a nice way to not trust your husband. I mean, that's like
exactly
that's an understandable. Exactly. I need to make sure that the family's taken care of.
He's taken care of, right? Yeah. Like, it's like, I want to make sure he doesn't accidentally like misuse the funds because he's so shocked or like distraught, and that's like heartbreaking to me. Mm-hmm. And the fact that Pam was like, oh, don't worry, you can trust me with that. And Rita said that Betsy had asked her first and she said, I don't really feel comfortable with that. like, I don't feel comfortable getting kind of involved in your family's finances. And so she said no. And
Interesting.
Rita told Betsy, I'm uncomfortable with the arrangement. Like, maybe you should look into setting up a trust for the money to ensure that it can be accessed and spent responsibly. And in the end, Betsy basically made an arrangement with her other best friend, Pam, who said, I'll start a trust for them. Just put me on there. Don't worry.
Okay.
But then Pam canceled the trust and kept the money for herself.
Sure.
No one, of course, in Betsy's family knew Pam had been named beneficiary until Betsy died. And that was 4 days, by the way, after Pam became beneficiary. 4 days. So Rita, the other friend, was like, something is so off about this. Like, she asked me about life insurance, then, like, goes to her other friend, and then, like, gets murdered mysteriously, and then this other friend keeps some money. Like, it's just not looking good. And she knows Betsy's very trusting and sometimes prone to being manipulated by people with not so good intentions.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Betsy's daughters, Mariah and Leah, sue Pam in civil court for access to their mother's life insurance funds. And that's when Pam basically says, sorry, I'm the sole beneficiary, and your mom said I can do whatever I want with this money. And she didn't really care if it went to you.
That's so evil.
And just totally scrapped the story about this trust and everything. And unfortunately, the presiding judge had to agree that the legal terms said she was the sole beneficiary. So even though she promised verbally to make a trust, she had full access to the money, and the kids would get not $1. So that was going on. And even though that closed the door on Mariah and Leah getting any sort of financial compensation to help moving forward, Russ's defense team saw that this had also opened a door for them. Pam had originally testified that Betsy made her the beneficiary to protect the money from Russ and make sure it went to her daughters. And they found it suspicious that she was now claiming, Betsy said I could do whatever I want with the money. So they also found it suspicious that Pam had apparently only created the trust for Mariah and Leah right before the trial. So basically, it looked like to appease the prosecution, who said, like, hey, it'll look a lot better if you make a trust now. Mm-hmm. And then after the trial, she just immediately canceled the trust, right? So they're like, this is sketchy as hell. So the defense filed for a new trial, and this request was actually granted in June of 2015, and Russ was released awaiting trial. This time there was no jury. It was a bench trial, meaning a single judge would hear the case and make a decision without a jury.
Okay.
And the defense came in swinging. They attacked all of the state's evidence against Russ. There was the blood on the bottom of the slippers, right, that were so damning at the time, discovered in the closet. But there was not a single bloody footprint anywhere in the home. And it's like, if the bottom of his slippers are coated in blood, so he just walked around, he forgot that he was wearing bloody slippers, put them in the closet, cleaned up the bloody like, there was not a single bloody footprint or, like, remnants of one.
I mean, also, like, it feels, again, sloppy, but intentionally, like half thought through to frame him, because they're like, okay, well, if I put the blood on his slippers, then it'll look like he did it. But also, if there's no more blood outside of the closet where I put the shoes, then he didn't.
Right.
What, did he bathe his fucking feet next to his dirty slippers in the closet and then not wash his slippers?
By the way, he was also naked this whole time.
Yeah, he was naked, but
he washed off his clothes, but not his slippers. Like, it just doesn't.
Which, like, if you're naked wearing slippers, guess what? Your ankles are gonna get blood on them, babe. What are you talking about?
Good point.
So where's the blood? Sorry.
Nope.
But am I wrong? You put slippers on a naked body, you got exposed ankles.
What do you mean the ankles?
Like, okay, you wear, if the whole story is that he's naked but in slippers, right?
Right.
Okay, so, but the slippers get blood on them. There's gonna be droplets on, like, your shin or your ankles.
Well, they're saying the reason he was naked is because then he jumped in the shower and washed all the blood off.
I see. Okay, sorry.
Because they're saying, well, there were no bloody clothes. And then she goes, well, that's because he was naked. And everyone's like, what? Like, it was basically because his clothes, when they came to the crime scene, he had no blood on him.
And that's what you mean about the footprints to the shower. There should be bloody footprints to the shower.
I mean, if you were wearing slippers that were covered in blood on the bottom, it's like, wouldn't there be bloody footprints or like a trail of one or a trail, anything?
You're totally right. Yep.
And it's just weird that there wouldn't be. But on top of that, the shoes looked almost like they had been this is gross, but dipped in blood. Like they said, it almost looked like someone had just taken them and like splashed them in a puddle and then like set them in the closet. It's
Sick.
like so dark. Yeah. So that was the first thing they attacked. The defense argued that a real killer had just dipped the slippers in Betsy's blood and then hidden them to like half-assed frame Russ. And they also doubled down on his alibi because there's no evidence that any of his friends were lying or like going to Arby's on his behalf.
Right.
And this time, which unlike the first time they were not allowed to bring anything about Pam because the jury or the DA and the judge were like, well, this isn't about Pam. Like, this trial isn't about Pam. It's about Russ. So we're not bringing other people. And then they have the audacity to go, oh, but I bet his friends just covered for him and are now complicit in this murder. It's like, well, if I can't talk about Pam, then you can't talk about the D&D folks. Like, it's just nonsense. So they doubled down on his alibi. There's no evidence that anyone was lying on his behalf. And they were also permitted to finally present Pam as an alternate killer.
Okay,
here.
great. Finally,
because Pam is the last person to see Betsy alive. She's also the last person to be seen with Betsy. And here's basically the real story, or at least as close of an approximation as I can get for you.
Great.
From what we know about the truth. So the real story is, on the day Betsy was killed, she had arranged a ride home from her mother's house with one of her mother's friends. According to her daughter, Mariah, who was with them that day, Pam reached out and insisted on driving Betsy home. And Betsy said, oh, no, it's fine. I want to spend time with my family and my daughters and, like, hang out here. But Pam showed up anyway.
I guarantee you, I wasn't there, obviously. I like to think she was like, oh, me and my daughters were going to have a girls' night since the husband's out of town. She was like, oh, I'm a girl. Part of the girls' night it is. I feel like that's what happened.
Well, she showed up, but she wasn't going to be part. She showed up. She didn't take off her coat. She basically sat there like this and stared at them until Betsy finally was like, okay, I guess I'll go with you.
Ew.
She's like fucking toxic as hell.
This is like so insane. Okay.
So she shows up uninvited because they literally said, we're going to spend family night together. All the girls, like, we're just going to spend family night together and play games. And then Pam shows up anyway, uninvited. And she pressures Betsy. She basically coerces her into getting in the car, even though she already had a ride home. Like, there's no reason. And she's like, well, I drove all this way. Like, why would, I mean, just classic narcissist bullshit that you keep like flipping it on the other person. And so Betsy ultimately is like, okay, fine. I am pretty tired. Why don't you just drive me home? So Pam, again, like you said, was the only person who described any abuse in the marriage. And nobody else could understand this, like, had heard of this pillow smothering story or any other abuse. And again, she had also set up this revocable trust and then, like, took it back. And so that's also a bad look. And they're saying, hey, that's the motive for, not for Russ, but for Pam. That's the motive for Pam to kill, for the life insurance money. Like, it's so obvious, people.
To me and to you.
It is hindsight, I guess, but the prosecution made the choice to not call Pam to the stand, and she was pissed. They were like, she doesn't have... We don't trust her. We don't trust her. She was their star witness in the first trial because she was like feeding them everything they wanted to hear. And now they're not even bringing her into the courtroom and she's fucking pissed. So I did a bit of digging. There was an aspect to this that was not covered in the Dateline stuff. And I feel like it's worth mentioning. They appealed the trial and they were doing this new trial in front of a judge. And the defense came in swinging with all this stuff. But apparently the prosecution claimed they had a bombshell witness on their hands that they were going to bring forward that was going to, like, rock everyone's world.
Okay.
And I found more details about this on a blog called The Trouble with Justice. And this is a quote from that site. The prosecution bombshell witness, who is supposed to be the pregnant mistress of Russ Faria, kind of exploded in their faces also. Carissa Barton testified that she was never pregnant with Russ's child. She had lied to him after writing him a letter in prison. They had a brief affair 1 year before Betsy's murder that lasted a month. Barton had decided to end the affair because Russ seemed so happy with his wife. The lie about being pregnant was a ploy to hurt him. So basically they were like, we have his pregnant mistress. And then the woman goes on the stand and goes, no, I lied about being pregnant. I was just really hurt about like the murder accusations, and we broke up over a year ago. So like, this wasn't about me, you know. Basically, like they thought like, oh, we're going to rock everyone's noggins, and it didn't happen. So after 2 hours of deliberation, the judge determined that the case asked way too many questions that the prosecution could not answer. Russ was declared innocent, and he was fully exonerated. And that is like not a common occurrence.
That's shocking.
That would happen.
That's shocking.
Yeah. Rita and other friends were thrilled, but they were also terrified because now Betsy's real killer is still free. And, you know, this was a trial against Russ, once again, not against Pam. So even if it was Pam, she's out there running around. Roughly a year later, she's sure running around.
That's crazy.
I have a whole page left, so she's not done yet.
Thank God. I was like, you have to tell me that.
No, don't worry.
It doesn't end. Don't let it end this way. Not like this.
Not like this. She acts out a little more. So, roughly a year later, August 16, 2016, Pam Hup calls 911, shouting for help.
Oh, okay.
She says there's a man in her house who had broken in and he wouldn't leave.
Okay.
The 911 operator could hear a male voice shouting at Pam, and she shouted back, "No, I'm not getting in the car with you. No, get away." Then the operator heard multiple gunshots. Police responded to the call in minutes, rushing to Pam's house where they found a man dead in her hallway.
I'm sorry. Immediately, I feel like this man wasn't doing anything wrong.
Correct.
And I feel like she just shouted that, and he was probably far enough from the phone that nobody heard him going, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And then she just shot him, but she just wanted to. Okay, so she just set this all up.
Ding, ding, ding.
He was being held at gunpoint while she said, "Get away, get away."
100%.
Super great. Okay, cool.
I can't wait for you to find out how she convinced him to even go into her house.
Chocolate. I don't fucking know at this point.
Like just, even stupider. It's like, okay, yeah. She's just a terrible person.
I don't know. I hate her. I just hate her.
She's bad. She's a bad egg. So they get there and she's like, "Oh my God, he broke into my house and he wouldn't leave." And she's had this shocking story that she arrived home minutes ago and a car pulled into her driveway behind her. A man leapt out of the vehicle, held her at knife point. He told Pam she needed to take him to the bank to get Russ's money.
Why? First of all, why is he no Russ? Second of all, he's got a knife, but you were able to run away and find a gun?
Correct.
Okay.
So here's why.
Or you just keep that thing on you. Like, what's going on?
Well, Wait, no, you'll know. No, she'll brag about it. Hold on.
Oh, of course.
Of course she'll tell you. The man briefly looked away to check for witnesses, and Pam took the opportunity to bravely knock the knife out of his hand. Can you believe that? What a star.
Hulk? What is she talking about? Okay.
She knocked the knife out of his hand?
Slapped it out of his hand?
Yeah. Just like a little flick.
Butterfly kissed his hand open? What are you talking about?
Right. Bullshit.
Okay. Ran towards a man with a knife. Okay.
Yeah. Well, they're in the car together. And I'm like, what? He looks over your shoulder and then you flick the knife out of his hand and then apparently ran away. And he followed her into her house. And then, of course, she retrieved her gun. This is her story. And then called 911 and then screamed like, "This man is in my house." And he was like, "Wait, what?" And she shot him.
Is she just bloodthirsty? Like, it was
probably
like, what's the reason? Like, what was he doing?
Well, I'll tell you. Oh, don't worry. I'll tell you. So the police find a Ziploc bag inside the attacker's pocket. It contained roughly $900 in cash along with a note. The note appeared to be instructions to go to Pam's house and get money for Russ Faria. She's trying to plant evidence that like Russ is involved in this, that he did it.
Right. Like, but hang on. But first of all, hang on. Like, I'm just like spewing with her, overflowing with rage right now.
Em, she's so nutty. I don't even know.
First of all, you literally got away with murder, like, and it's not enough for you that someone else also got away with murder.
Like, shut the fuck up,
like, girl. Like, you already won. That's
what I'm
like,
saying.
Shut
she can't
up.
stay out. She cannot stay out of the fucking
limelight. Why is she dragging? Like, just because he didn't. Like, it's one thing to get away with murder and, like, someone else got framed for it and, like, you, quote, won. But, like, because someone else also got, quote, away with it, that's, like, you don't want to share that title. Like, he has to go back to jail because,
I think like she had a fear that now that
like, he was going to get
he
her?
was free, that now that he was out, they were going to be like, well, then the only reasonable person left is Pam.
Like, her paranoia got to her?
Well, I think she knew that they would look at her next. And so she was like, well, shit, I'm going to be on the hook for this if Russ is found innocent. Like, if he's found not guilty, I'm going to be on the hook for this, which he was. And so now that he's not guilty,
Gotcha.
she's like, shit, like, they're going to figure out it's me. And I need to make it look like...
Girl, this is when you just go become a fucking nun or something and just stay in hiding and, like, just keep a low profile. Like,
couldn't be Pam.
So this random man is now collateral damage, which also goes against my gay theory. It's feeling like there's not really a reason to this except to,
I don't even think there's any sexual, like, I think she just has such a twisted mind that it's not even sexual in nature. Maybe it is, but okay. So I guess I don't even know if I have the notes about this in here. I may, but I guess I'll just add it here just in case. But before the second trial, she showed up at the DA's office, and the DA was like, okay, like, we don't need any more info. Like, they're starting to realize, like, oh, our star witness is kind of kooky and maybe not as credible as we thought, and we're starting to look stupid. And so she keeps showing up. She's always carrying, like, a huge Slurpee also, by the way, and she's always slurping on it.
Okay, girl.
Yeah, I know, because she's so quirky. And so she apparently went to the DA's office with more evidence, right? Because she's, like, trying to now add to her story, and they're like, okay. And she goes, she basically says that she and Betsy were an item, but not because Pam wanted to. Like, it's so fucked up. She basically says she, like, pitied her enough. She's like, I don't like women. I'm not gay, but, like, sex doesn't mean much to me, and if she wanted that from me, that's fine. And I just gave her. And it's like, so they were like, wait, so you had a sexual relationship? She's like, yeah, but it was private, so I didn't bring it up in the last trial. And they were like, you can't just say that.
I can't even tell if that's, like, helpful. Like, I mean, it's certainly not helpful, but, like, what is that gonna do for your case that differently? Like,
she said, actually, interesting, thank you for reminding me, I didn't even clarify that. Her point, quote unquote, was that Russ had found out and threatened to stab them if he found the lesbians together. Oh, she said, oh my God.
I love what's going. Your frustration tickles me.
Like, she literally told them, "Oh, Russ said he would stab Betsy if she was gay."
So let's tack on a hate crime while we're at it. Like,
yeah. So keep him in prison. That was her whole thing. And they're like, "Please go home. Like, let the grown-ups handle this." And so she keeps inserting herself. It's like bash it.
Okay, so there's this other guy that she's now trying to frame to
dead
kill.
Man that she's saying is, like, attacking her. Oh, look, it looks like he's trying to get money for Russ. It looks like Russ hired a hitman, and the motive was getting their hands on Betsy's life insurance money, which was for Russ Faria written out in the note.
Okay.
So, right, because that's really good criminal move.
Because
so
if you finally just got out of jail, the next thing you would do is obviously implicate yourself to
hire a hitman
and
sign the paperwork with your legal name. Yeah. So the police ran the attacker, quote unquote's fingerprints, and they came back as a match to a 33-year-old man named Louis Gumpenberger. Lewis's mother had already reported him missing. The police went to her home, and she was so relieved, thinking they had found him safe. But the police told Margaret Birch that Lewis had been killed. And not only that, they told her he was suspected in a murder for hire plot. And Margaret is fucking floored because she goes, hey, he's not capable of that. And they go, yeah, we know. And she goes, he's raising 2 children with his ex-girlfriend. He adores his family. He would do almost anything to support them, but he would not commit violence. And they said, well, you never know. And she said, no. I mean, he's incapable physically because he was in a terrible car accident a few years ago. He suffered a traumatic brain injury, and he could not use most of the right side of his body.
Oh my God.
He could barely use a spoon, let alone chase someone down with a knife.
Again, and this, I hope this isn't at all offensive to the fact that, like, he's, like, chronically or disabled. Like,
yes, he is. Like, yes.
but
Like, she took advantage of that.
but this is again evidence that she's like not she's still sloppy with her intentional planning.
Correct. She's
It's
not
like
good at this.
You
No,
couldn't
no, no.
find someone who maybe could overtake you. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
she did. Don't worry, we'll get to her later.
oh my fucking okay.
Like, she really
This is just so
really bad.
beyond.
Really bad at this. Really bad at this. There's no medical, physical way. Sorry, I didn't mean to say metaphysical. There's no medical, nor is there a physical way that Lewis could have done this. So police are like scratching their heads. And then, right around then, they get a call from this woman named Carol Alford. Carol is like, something weird happened to me last week. I was sitting on my porch in my trailer, and this woman pulls up in a black SUV and said she was a producer for Dateline NBC.
Okay.
She told Carol, oh, hey, I'm a producer for Dateline. I'm looking to pay someone to participate in a reenactment for the show, and I'll pay you $1,000 in cash.
Mm-hmm.
Carol got in the SUV. She's like, well, okay, it seems like easy money. In fact, Carol began to feel it seemed too easy, and she suddenly realized this is kind of an uncomfortable red flag situation. She said to the producer, oh, shoot, I left my front door unlocked. Can I go back and lock it? So the producer drove her back home, but once Carol got to her house and out of the SUV, she was like, I'm not coming with you, bye, and went inside.
Yeah.
And it was then that the producer noticed that Carol had security cameras outside her house, and she suddenly ducked back inside her SUV and bolted.
Whoopsies. The irony of Dateline, like, actually appearing later on.
Well, no, Dateline was already in town.
Oh.
She had heard that Dateline was there, and she was delighted because now suddenly she's like on Dateline, right?
Christine.
I mean, it's like fucking bananas.
This is out.
So she's now
of
running
this
around
world.
saying she's a Dateline producer. And it's believable because these people know that there's this case going on and that there are Dateline producers around filming.
And to be clear, they are in town because they're covering this exact
because
story.
of this case.
Where she is
Exactly.
one of the prime suspects, and now
Correct.
she's like, hey, I'm actually on the payroll.
She's rolling around saying, I work for Keith Morrison. Yeah, fuck off. It's just like
I can't.
beyond me.
I'm done trying to make sense of this.
Well, Carol had cameras on her house. And so Carol is so smart. She actually stalled outside for a few minutes to make sure that the producer's car, the license plate, was caught on camera. And it worked. When the producer said, like, what are these cameras? Carol said, yes, I also have a knife and know how to dial 911. And then this lady fucking bolted. Peeled out of there, and the license plate was captured, and the vehicle was registered to a company owned by one Pamela Hup. You zoom in, Pam's face, clear as day, there.
And dare I ask, what do we think Pam's actual plan was? To just
Oh,
kill
I'll
this
tell you.
random person? Okay.
So the police put a case together against Pam, and the new working theory is, after Russ was exonerated, there would be a new investigation. She knew she'd be the prime suspect, like the clear, obvious answer here. So she needed to deflect suspicion and make herself look innocent and make Russ look guilty again. So she concocted a fake murder-for-hire plot against herself, and then she looked for an unwitting participant to frame. So, in other words, the woman with the cameras, Carol, had barely escaped with her life. Like, she was going to be the one who was shot in Pam's house, but she was like, something's off, and got out of the car, and thankfully had that footage of the license plate. But tragically, Lewis had not escaped with his life. He had fallen victim to this plot, being told, oh, I'll give you $1,000 if you act in this like reenactment for Dateline. And he's like, sure, I have 2 kids to support.
Oh, so maybe he went in thinking for a second that like this was part of the reenactment? Maybe?
No, that is what he went in. Yeah,
That's
she went
so
in
sad.
because Carol bailed, and so then she went to find someone else. She found this guy and said, would you be in an act? And so he walks in her house thinking he's going to help her with a scene for Dateline, and he gets shot in cold blood.
The notion of killing people to cover up your last killing is like so
It's
backwards.
It's beyond. It's beyond It's beyond.
It's like, if you stop and think about it for a second, girl, like, this is
really.
This is a lot. Like, let's just...
Like a second.
Like,
God.
maybe stop killing people if you're trying to get away with not killing people. You know what I mean?
I think that's a good first step at least, right?
Rule
like,
of
maybe
thumb,
let's try
don't
that.
kill people if you don't want to be arrested for killing people.
It should be the only rule, you know? So the police arrested Pam on August 23rd. That was just days after she claimed to survive this harrowing ordeal with this knife-wielding attacker. And so as the evidence is stacking up against Pam, the prosecution plans to seek the death penalty against her for the murder of Louis Gumpenberger. Desperate to save her own life, Pam ultimately accepted an Alford plea, which is basically, I've talked about it a little bit, but it's where the defendant doesn't admit guilt, but they say, I worry that if I go on trial, there's enough evidence that a jury will think I'm guilty. Like, I'm not saying I'm guilty, but I know it looks bad, so I'm going to submit an Alford plea saying I'm not guilty, but I'm pleading guilty.
Is it like,
if that makes
like
sense.
a no contest or whatever it is?
No, it's like, it's basically like saying, all right, I plead guilty, but just so everyone knows, I didn't actually do it. I'm not saying I did it. It's like you're admitting guilt, but you're not, but you're still saying, but I'm innocent. I just know
You're
that
just like
my
like,
chances are not good if
like,
I go on
I'm
trial.
aware the situation looks bad.
Yes. I worry that a jury or a judge might find me guilty based on what evidence I'm seeing. So I'm going to plead guilty to take the deal.
Yeah.
But I didn't do it.
Okay.
Yeah. So in 2019, Pamela Hupp was sentenced to life in prison without parole for the murder of Louis Gumpenberger. Then in 2020, Russ won a $2 million settlement in a lawsuit against 3 officers who were accused of fabricating evidence in the murder case against him. Felony charges were... Oh, by the way, those fucking photos, they found them. The photos existed, and guess what?
There was no luminol or no blood or whatever?
Not a single drop. Not a single fucking drop.
Of course.
To say, like, yeah, I saw those, I swear. I mean, it's just wild. Yeah, so Russ won the $2 million lawsuit. Felony charges were brought against Deputy Mike Merkel, who had testified about these malfunctioning cameras and saying they destroyed all this evidence of blood that we'd spotted, and then turns out to be that 130 images had been captured. Not a single spot of blood.
Oof.
And they were like hiding it from them. Like they deleted them and said, oh, they're missing.
Insane.
The issue with the photos notwithstanding, Mike was also charged with stalking and harassing the detective who led the investigation against him. That's just a sidebar. So he's just not a good dude.
Oh my God.
In 2021, Pam was charged with first-degree murder in the death of Betsy Faria. Thankfully, finally, she maintains her innocence. Of course she does. And her trial is scheduled for late August of 2026. So a year from now as we record this.
Wow.
Very, very curious how that's going to go. In a 2022 interview, Russ said he hoped he would have a chance to testify against Pam. Finally, that would be quite powerful, I think. And he wants justice for Pam and himself. He wants some sort of closure. Of course, his family, Betsy's family, they've all been just deeply traumatized by this whole event. The Dateline podcast, The Thing About Pam, followed by a series of episodes, followed by the mini-series starring Renee Zellweger as Pam, is all very sensational and suspenseful and captivating. But like, as I pointed out earlier, the family didn't reap any reward from this, and in fact, probably just were re-traumatized by the whole ordeal. And I guess that's kind of what true crime does in a pop culture space, but it just feels, a little weird. I'm still trying to parse how I feel about all this. It's just really, really sad. And I feel like it just sometimes misses like the finer points. Like apparently there's still quite a fracture in the Faria family, and the daughters don't speak with their father, or he doesn't speak with them. There's been like quite a rift, and it's just really heartbreaking because it feels like the whole family is just shattered, you know?
And in some ways it's like super understandable, and in other ways it's just such a shame.
Yeah, it is. It's like you can see why and you can respect it, but it is sad.
Yeah, you can't blame anyone. It's got to be awkward to like try to rekindle after like you have to unlearn all the things you were forced to learn about somebody.
Well, and the teenagers, like, they were forced to testify on the stand. Like, they had to testify against their dad and say, like, oh, he was, like, angry or something. And, like, they were, like, pressured into testifying.
Yeah, and even if they believe that he didn't do anything, maybe just being in a room with him is just too hard, you know?
I mean, yeah, or, I mean, I heard some theories, this is all Reddit and, like, so I don't know the factual basis of this part, but somebody was saying they saw like an an interview he did where he said like he's not comfortable. He wants to move on and leave that behind. So maybe it's him not
Maybe it's hard for him to see
continuing
them,
the
or
relationship, right?
maybe
So it's unclear. But
also like
it seems fractured.
maybe they could like look like their mom, and it's hard to look at them, or maybe it's
Could be. Who
yeah,
knows?
it could be anything, and all of it is fucked up, but also justified in
Like
some
valid,
way.
right?
Yeah.
So that's the story of the thing about Pam.
At the dog park, I was talking to some people I've become friends with, and they're like, "Oh, like, what kind of topics does your co-host bring?" And I was like, "Sometimes they're very fucked up." I was like,
Yeah. Are
you
sure you want to know the answer to that question?
I kind of gave a vague answer, but I was like, it's hard to banter. It's tough to call yourself a comedy podcast when I just sit in silence and go, "Oh my god," a million times.
Yeah, that part's not funny.
No, not at all.
Oh wait,
my part's the funny part, I think, sometimes.
I think so. I'm gonna send you a picture, first of all, of Pam, her mugshot, and then I'm gonna also send you a picture of Renee Zellweger in the scene where she is pressuring Betsy to leave, and she sits on a love sack. You know those like love sack
gosh.
and the daughter goes, "It's a love sack," and she's like, "Of course it is," and she sits there with her Slurpee.
Oh my god.
Do you see that?
And with her love sack, or with her chill chugs Slurpee.
The Slurpee and the fucking coat.
You know, they made her look pretty similar. That's a pretty spot on.
That's what I'm saying. Like, she does a good job of the acting. I know that like it's not
controversial, but
got there, yeah.
But it does look like her.
It's convincing portrayal, if that makes sense. But
yeah. Wow. Well,
what's that?
If anyone wants anything a little more lighthearted, you could head on over to our Yappy Hour.
Yeah, I actually opened the document of Yappy Hour suggestions and questions. So I'm like, maybe we do that for finally, now that we've asked people to tell us what to do. Maybe we actually listen and do one of these yapping topics.
All right. And other than that, go watch Christine live while I sit at home with my dog. And you can go find her at beachjuicehandy.com, right?
Thank you. That's right. And you can find us at andthat'swhydrink.com, ATWWD podcast,
our listener stories. If you'd like to submit your own situation that you endured. And yeah, drink some water. Take that medication that you said you would take 2 hours ago and then you forgot.
I hate when that happens.
And you have laundry in the dryer.
Shit. I have laundry in the washer. It's even worse.
And
that's
why
we
drink.